morning, honorable members. Can we just remain standing to observe a moment of silence and prayer and meditation? Thank you very much. You may be seated. Honorable members, let's start with our meeting. Okay. Good morning, honorable members. Good morning, Premier, members of the Executive Council, members of the Provincial Legislature, the Chief Whip, leaders of political parties, ladies and gentlemen, guests, if we have any, good morning to you too. Baagi ba Gauteng ra le dumedisa tlhe bagolo ba rona. Under announcements, I'm sure you might have noticed that there's a smell of paint. Okay, I just wanted to give you an opportunity to, to make your comments, but let me explain why there's a smell of paint. The renovations have started, so we have provided fans in the house that are switched to full capacity to at least alleviate the smell. And I want to apologize profusely, but this must be done. And thank you very much, Honorable Msimango. Thank you. Thanks for the comment. Honorable members, I also want to remind you about the disclosure of members' registrable interests for the year 2024 and 25. So in accordance with Part 4 of the Conflict of Interest and Disclosure Framework for members of the Gauteng Provincial Legislature Code, members are required to disclose all their registrable interests within 30 days after the opening of the legislature or on appointment of a member. These interests are the registrable interest as declared may be verified by the Office of the Integrity Commissioner or any third party contracted by the GPL in writing without requesting any consent from the said member in terms of Part 3, Section 15, subsection 5D of the Code. So in complying with the above framework, honorable members, you are required to complete and submit your declaration of interest via SAP. Like I said earlier on, this is not the South African police. It's a system, a computer system that we are using. So this system will be opened on the 16th, well, it was opened on the 16th of August, and it will remain open until the 15th of September 2024. So under members' announcements, I would like to take this moment to congratulate. Okay, well, I'll take the opportunity anyway to congratulate Honorable Mogobe, who has in African terms become a man. O tla tlo nna le lona go ditafoleng tsa go rera melato wa dumellwa gona yaanong o ntshitse bogadi ka weekend re tswang mo yona a re laletsa mareso right re tla emela lenyalo so ne ke re bathong a re mo akgoleng re mo iteeleng matsogo o godile ngwana rona ke o Chief Whip re tla duduetsa as well. Chief Whip o tla mo akgola sentle in the next sitting. Okay. So I would like to open the floor for any member who wants to make an announcement, if there are any. Honorable Ali.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Honorable members, I beg your indulgence, please, just for 2 to 3 minutes. I won't take long. There's a rather urgent and pressing matter that I would like for us to pay attention to. You may or may not have seen I was not intending to speak at all today. I'm not on the question list, and not because I'm content, Madam Speaker, but because sometimes you lose faith in these processes. But as I'm sitting and as I'm here in the House, I could not hold my peace. I could not remain silent. Akuvumi mandithule. So I appreciate this time that you have given me very much so. We've been taught in African culture that you should not shout at a child too much because you'll make them very stubborn and hard of hearing. So I would like to address the Honorable Premier and the MECs without shouting today so that they can hear. I come in peace, I come to beg and to plead and to ask that I be heard, please. Mr. Premier, last time we engaged, there were a number of entrepreneurs that we had brought from Qatar, and they had spoke about the abuse that they endured at the hands of the Gauteng Department of Economic Development, as well as Qatar Shop Owners Association and Family Tree Holdings. It has now come to our attention as Build One South Africa that that was just the tip of the iceberg. We have another group of entrepreneurs, business people. Mr. Premier, these ones were in partnership with Pick and Pay. You'll remember that Department of Economic Development started a great campaign about mini markets in the township, and they are among 30-odd of them who had become part of this initiative. A very noble initiative, a worthy initiative. But, Mr. Premier, it has now come to our attention that they have been left high and dry by this partnership. They are right there. They took up hefty loans, having signed surety, knowing that there are two giants with them, economic development on one shoulder and the Pick and Pay on the other. They went, they took loans, they opened up shops, state-of-the-art shops. Mr. Premier, did you know that they know how to make boravos? I don't know. There are machineries that they have to do all those things.
Honorable Ali,
and yet,
just order, members, order,
their machinery and their
order.
shops are empty. And they are empty, Mr. Premier, because the agreement and the MOU that was signed by the department and Pick and Pay has not been adhered to. We speak about jobs, we speak about employment, we speak about revitalizing the township economy. They are each hiring in excess of 15 people in their shops. They are asking for permission to address you. They are asking for permission to be able to receive assistance. All I'm asking, and the announcement I'm asking for today, please agree to meet with those entrepreneurs, Mr. Premier, in the interest of the economy of Gauteng. Thank you very much.
No, but this behavior is wrong. This is a wrong behavior. This is a wrong behavior, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Ali, do you still want to raise your point of order?
Yeah, I want to raise
because
it.
I want to address the matter. Proceed.
I want to raise it because May Ali speaks as if she's the greatest champion of the people of Catharas. Our government has been intervening in that situation. Now we've raised it. Joshua Dog, 89.
Just order,
Rule 89.
order, honorable members, order.
Rule 89. You invited announcements, Madam Speaker. You invited announcements. And then there's a substantive submission. I mean, Member Ali needs to appreciate that much as we may sympathize with the views that she might have, she must also respect the decorum of the House. There's no grandstanding, there's no platform to grandstand here. If you want to raise issues substantial, do that without arousing any excitement. Why not? You see, we're going to raise it.
Yeah. Hey, honorable members, let's proceed. We are now moving to member statements in terms of Rule 81, subsection 1. Oh, sorry. Oh, announcement. Honorable Maile.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. We would like to take this opportunity to congratulate Lufthansa Airlines for introducing a direct flight from Munich to Johannesburg as of this morning, and that will have about 3 flights in a week. And this is very important and significant for boosting our tourism numbers and for also enhancing trade and investment. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you very much, Honorable Maile. We now move to member statements in terms of Rule 81, subsection 1. Member Sheeman.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. This past Saturday saw a rugby test match between South Africa and New Zealand taking place at the Ellis Park Rugby Stadium here in Johannesburg, which saw the Springboks beating the All Blacks 31-27. We congratulate the Springboks for their victory, which was also their first win. It was their first win over the All Blacks at the Ellis Park Rugby Stadium since 2014. We wish them well in their next Test match against the All Blacks in Cape Town on Saturday, 7th of September 2024. At the same time, the manner in which the three spheres of government work together to make this Test match an even greater success deserves high praise. This is an example of cooperative governance in action. For the first time, spectators were able to travel on the Gauteng to Park Station and then board PRASA-operated trains and travel from Park Station to Ellis Park Station. PRASA had trains running every 15 minutes. Thousands of spectators, including myself, used the two train services, which were well coordinated and provided a safe and effective means of travel. The Ellis Park Station was renovated in a short space of time by PRASA as well. Appreciation must also be given to the City of Johannesburg, the South African Police Services, the Metro Police, crime wardens and all other government departments for the role which they played. Going forward, we trust that all spheres of government will continue to work together to make Gauteng a destination of choice for major sporting events. I thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Honourable Chairman. Honourable Gentile. Your mic? Turn your mic on. Thank you.
Thanks. Sihlalo wendlu yowiso-mthetho wephondo laseRhawutini. Amalungu onke alendlu abahlali kwiipaseji zontlanu zeli phondo ngale ntsasa molweni. USeptemba yinyanga apho sicinga ngemibhiyozo ebalulekileyo yeyantlukwano yembali, amagugu nenkcubeko yeli lizwe. Le nyanga ibalulekile kuba isikhumbuza ubutyebi bembali ngakumbi umzamo wabantu bakuthi ekuzabalazeleni inkululeko yelizwana loMzantsi Afrika. Honourable Speaker, for people of South Africa, September represents unity in diversity, a celebration of various cultures, language and traditions. Historical significance, a time to reflect on the country's complex past, including the struggle against apartheid, the contribution of freedom fighters to emancipate our people. Cultural heritage, an opportunity to showcase and preserve this country's rich cultural heritage, including music, art, traditional practices to recalibrate talent, agility, and deepen institutional resilience. In Gauteng specifically, the unique culture and history signifies the following: Constitutional Hill, a historic site that showcases the country's journey to democracy and a signing of constitution. Freedom Park as one of the historical milestones to remember the heroines of the struggle for liberation of our country. Townships like Soweto and Shavul, amongst many in this province, have played a crucial role in the fight against apartheid, and as such, Hector Peterson Museum, Mandela House, Shavul Monument must continue to be preserved. Gauteng's mining history, a reflection on the province's rich mineral heritage. Overall, Madam Speaker, heritage as a symbol of unity, as South Africans of all backgrounds and cultures gather to pay homage to their respective heritage. In promoting this unity, we must have an appreciation and understanding of a rainbow nation and a sense of shared identity. As I move towards concluding, I would like to ask the House to join in passing condolences to one of our cultural icons, Sis Jessica Mbangeni, who was an omnipresent beacon of light and a well of wisdom to many of our communities. In conclusion, Madam Speaker, I'm reminded of these words. If we know where we come from, we may better know where to go. And if we know where we came from, we may better understand who we are. Madam Speaker, Ndiabule.
Thank you very much, Honourable Gentile. Honourable Mikwe.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, members of the Gauteng Legislature, esteemed colleagues, our honoured guest. Today I address this august House on the matter of critical importance in the role of the artificial intelligence in shaping our future. AI is no longer a concept of tomorrow, it is a powerful tool of today, poised to transform how we govern, how we work, and how we serve the people of Gauteng. AI holds immense potential to revolutionize service delivery across our province. By automating routine tasks, we can enhance the efficiency of our government operations, allowing our public servants to focus on more complex issues that require human judgment and creativity. Imagine a system where AI helps us to predict service demands, optimize resource allocation, and respond to citizens' needs with unprecedented speed and accuracy. From healthcare to education, from transport to public safety, AI can make our government not just more efficient, but more responsive and effective in delivering the services our people rely on. Moreover, AI will play a pivotal role in the future of work. It will not only create new jobs, but also redefine existing ones. We must prepare our workforce for this shift, equipping them with the necessary skills to collaborate with AI technologies. This isn't about replacing jobs, but about transforming them, enabling our citizens to engage in more meaningful, innovative, and productive work. By embracing AI, we can foster an economy where both humans and machines contribute to prosperity. However, as we advance, we must address the ethical and regulatory challenges that AI presents, ensuring data privacy, preventing algorithmic bias, and safeguarding employment are all vital to building a future where AI benefits everyone. Honourable members, the significance of AI in service delivery and the future of work cannot be overstated. Let us lead government into an era of innovation, ensuring that our government harnesses AI to better serve our people and secure a prosperous future for all. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honourable Mepe. Honourable Sisedinyane.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, the Honourable Premier, the members of the Legislature. I rise in accordance with Rule 81, subsection 1, that I, Honourable Mphosa Sedinyane of the African National Congress, tables the member statement on the brutal murder of 2 women in Limpopo Farm. Honourable Speaker, recently South Africans were left with reeling in a shock and grief after the disturbing news of the murder of 2 women in the farm in Limpopo spread like wildfire. A farmer and his 2 employees stand accused of murdering 2 women at Mankweng Magistrate Court. The trio is alleged to have killed Maria Makato, a member of a 4, and Lucia Ndlovu, a 34-year-old Zimbabwean national, on the 17th of August 2024. It is alleged that the accused later fed the bodies of the 2 women to pigs. Makato and Ndlovu were reportedly murdered after they went to the overfed farm to collect expired dairy product that had been dumped by a truck. As the African National Congress, we're very dismayed by the brutal, senseless, and racist murder of these 2 women who were doing nothing else except feeding for their families. It is said that 30 years into democracy, there are hooligans who are still believe that they are gods of South Africa and law unto themselves. Madam Speaker, our liberation struggle has always been about creating a society free of racism and exploitation. During the apartheid, majority of the people of this country, particularly blacks, suffered unimaginable atrocities. We can never allow hooliganism to take us back to the dark days of oppression. As the African National Congress, we stand firm with the families of the 2 women and demand justice to them. We call on all relevant authorities to bring these heartless killers to book. We convey our heartfelt condolences to the families of the victims. Their pain is our pain. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Honourable Sisedinyane. Honourable Ngobeni, or is it Masilela who's going to read on behalf? Huh?
Yeah, I'm reading on behalf of Ngobeni. Greeting, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, we would like to reiterate our stance as the EFF that we strongly recognize insourcing as a pathway to economic development in this province. Just in the past week, the Ekurhuleni Council received a report on insourcing in that metro. We believe the province of Gauteng is plagued by a chronic reliance on casual staff of non-permanent personnel from the Department of Health, the Department of Education, to even community safety. The casual contracts continue to hinder job security across the province as the people are contracted on a short-term basis. The process is also administratively unnecessary, and evidence presents that insourcing in the actual fact cuts these costs, improves staff retention, and reduces the possibility of disruptions in services. The security guards and cleaners of this province are underpaid, Madam Speaker, because private companies of cadres are overpaid, Madam Speaker. It is an embarrassing fact that after 30 years in this government, must still pay a company in order for someone to open the gate for the Honorable Premier. But more than a job security matter, Madam Speaker, it is also a matter of dignity. No one deserves to work for over 4 years as a casual worker, Madam Speaker. Diligent workers who report for duty cannot be signing new contracts every year, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, not only does the chronic reliance of casual work and third parties pig to the incapacity of the province that the jobs performed by security guards and cleaners are outsourced, but also the highlights to us as a serious attempt to try and avoid the responsibility of providing these workers the necessary and the well-deserved benefits that come with proper employment. As the Premier has already stated in this SOPA, that he has went into an agreement with all municipalities across the province in order to set up a indigent register. As the EFF will also call on the Premier to enter commitments with all municipalities in this province to undertake the work of producing comprehensive reports of the possibilities of insourcing as well as absorption of services in these various municipalities. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Masilela. Honorable Simatla.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Speaker, we stand here today outraged by the tragic deaths of 3 young children in Fosloras Extension 28, which took place on the 29th August 2024. The children aged 3, 5, and 6 years died on arrival at J2 Clinic under suspicious circumstances with symptoms suggesting foodborne illness or poisoning. Madam Speaker, it seems to us that the recent food poisoning incident needs immediate attention as the reported number of cases has now reached unprecedented heights. Out of the 207 food poisoning cases that affected children in Gauteng since February 2024, 10 of these have resulted in fatalities. In Ekurhuleni, a shocking 119 cases were reported with 4 deaths, followed by Johannesburg with 40 cases. Tshwane has 31 reported cases, in which 3 resulted in deaths, and the West Rand District has 14 cases. As the EFF, we therefore demand an immediate investigation into the cause of this death. We have come to see the Department of Education in the province as a somewhat reliable department. There should be a thorough investigation into the processing, manufacturing, and regulation of the school feeding schemes throughout our schools. And further to this, the EFF calls for intensified support and compensation for affected families. Madam Speaker, we cannot overstress the need to speedily explore measures that will enable an improved food safety and preventative mechanism to ensure that such tragedies are not a regular occurrence in the future. In conclusion, we would like to send our heartfelt condolences to the family and friends of those affected and hope that they find comfort in these difficult times. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable Simatla. Honorable Masai.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Greetings to the Premier, the MEC, honorable members, Baahi, Gauteng, Liba, South Africa. Madam Speaker, I rise in accordance with Rule 81.1 to table the ANC member statement on Chief Justice of the Constitutional Court in South Africa, Judge Mandisa Maya. Madam Speaker, Sunday the 1st September 2024 was a very special day in the history of our nation, as it marked the official beginning of Judge Mandisa Maya's term as Chief Justice of the Constitutional Court in South Africa. Chief Justice Mandisa Muriel Lindelwa Maya, born in 1964, has a long legal career, including serving as an attorney's clerk, court interpreter, and prosecutor. She has also held positions as acting judge, Supreme Court of Appeal judge, and vice president of the International Association of Women Judges. In her work, she has received numerous honors and awards, including the Eastern Cape Chamber of Business Annual Law Award, the Duke Law Alumni Association International Award, and the Felicia Kentridge Award. Madam Speaker, Judge Maya's appointment is a practical expression of our government's commitment to gender equality, which is deeply rooted in the struggles against colonialism and apartheid. In this case specifically, it is also reflected in the Women's Charter of 1954 and the 1993 Women's Charter for Effective Equality. Honorable members, Judge Maya starts her term as Chief Justice faced with some dynamics in the office. We wish her well in dealing with the tensions of attacks that are a commonplace on the judiciary of late. This while having to convince citizens to trust South Africa's damaged legal and criminal justice systems, because many in South Africa have lost faith in the rule of law, with the murder detection rate having fallen to 14% amongst others. Honorable members, this is compounded by the view that sometimes the system is inefficient, as some judges take longer to provide judgments on cases they have heard. The endless delays in appeals and the acquittal of people with strong evidence against them mean that justice is often not seen to be done. On the continent, Chief Justice Maya follows in the footsteps of other female leaders in the field who were also first in their respective countries, like Chief Justice Georgina Theodora Wood of Ghana, Honorable Justice Miriam Aloma Makta of Nigeria, Honorable Ntumeng Majara of the Kingdom of Lesotho, and lastly, the late Irene Chirwa Mambilima of Zambia. Taken from the latest South African war cry that reverberated out of Ellis Park this past Sunday, we salute our new Chief Justice as we say, in the Republic of South Africa, success is in our DNA. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Musai. Honorable Dijager.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Democratic Alliance demands an investigation into the Kasi for Real program that was rolled out earlier this year by the Gauteng Partnership Fund. It is suspected that the idea was stolen by the Department of Human Settlements from a private company. The DA was recently contacted by Mgizi Majezi, who indicated that a proposal he put forward to the Chief of Staff in MEC Maile's office, while he was MEC for Infrastructure Human Settlements, was stolen. I recently met with Mr. Majezi, a director of the Home Improvement South Africa Group. Majezi alleges that on 7th February 2022, he presented a proposal to Sam Mahatlana, the Chief of Staff at the Gauteng Department of Human Settlements. Present in the meeting was Sophie Nkobo, his personal assistant. The meeting was to discuss a potential partnership between the Home Improvement Group and the department. This partnership would allow the government to provide decent and formalized accommodation to allow to low and middle class income earners. After the presentation, Mr. Matlana asked for the presentation to be sent to him. This email was sent to Mr. Matlana on the 11th of February 2022. No acknowledgement of receipt of the email was received. Should the investigation reveal that this idea was not the department's, then credit should be given where the credit is due. I thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable Dijager. Honorable members, under statements by members of the Executive Council in terms of Rule 79, subsection 1, there's none. We also didn't receive any request for motion without notice in terms of Rule 120. And the same applies for a motion without notice in terms of Rule 121. Under apologies, honorable members, we received the following. Honorable Makwala is not, or he's got family commitments. Honorable Maloka will ask question on his behalf. Honorable McKenna is not feeling well. Yes. No, I have not left anyone. I used the list that I have in front of me, and those are the people that I have here. So these are the member statements that were approved. Yeah, please do that. Okay, let's proceed, honorable members. I was on Honorable McKenna, who is not feeling well, and member R.L. Abrams will ask the question on. Will ask the question to the MEC for Environment. Honorable Ngobeni, he's not in due to party commitments, and the question rather will be read by Honorable Masilela. Honorable Poho is not in attendance due to committee business. Actually, the following members are not in due to the very same reason of Mr. Poho, committee business. It's Honorable Poho, Honorable Siteka, Honorable Klebere, Honorable Klope, Honorable L. Dijager, Honorable Meso, Honorable Koketso Poho, and Honorable Emma Muri. We now go to questions to the Premier for oral reply in terms of Rule 138. Honorable Msimanga.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. To Premier Ntatele Sophie, in terms of Rule 138, I would like to ask, with regards to the process of separating environment, agriculture, and rural development into two departments, could the Premier please indicate, one, what process was followed to separate environment and agriculture and rural development from the current combined department? Two, advise whether legal opinion exists that inform the decision to form separate departments. Three, is there a cost-benefit analysis or any similar form of business case that such an unbundling is more effective than the current combined department or any other configuration? And four, what process was followed to separate the budget elements from the current vote into two separate votes? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Msimanga. Honorable Premier.
Thanks so much, Madam Speaker. Let me thank Member Msimang for the question. Member Msimang, we live in a period where climate change is a reality, but we need to ensure that we put the necessary systems in place to prepare for this eventuality. Reality is the weather patterns have changed. Reality is there are many things that are unpredictable that are creating disasters in our society. But most importantly, our province is dirty, and majority of our municipalities are failing in their function, and it's very important that at all times we put up the necessary backup system so that we can be in a position to assist these municipalities. And I want to congratulate both MEC Peters and MEC Ramogopa for getting into this particular task like doves in water, and they've presented the necessary solutions that we need in our province. The issue of food security is a very important issue that cannot be tackled at ad hoc times. It needs to be dedicated to a certain team that can attend to this particular issue to ensure that we protect the poor against poverty in our province. It was within this context that we took a decision to separate the two departments as contained in the Public Service Act 1994, Chapter 2, Section 3A, which stipulates the Premier of a province may, in the province concerned, A, subject to Section 7.5 to 7 establish or abolish any provincial department, designate such department and the head thereof, or amend any such designation. After necessary consultation with the Minister and the Minister of Finance, to establish or abolish any provincial government component, the Premier can establish an existing body as a provincial government component until this particular matter is finalized. B, make determinations regarding the allocation of any function to or the abolition of any function of any department or government component in the province concerned, or transfer of any function from such department or component to another department. And this is according to the law that the Premier followed. But again, Public Service Regulation 2016, Regulation 32 on the transfer of functions stipulates that if the Minister or the Premier in this regard of a province makes a determination in terms of Section 3(4)(b) or C or 3A of the Act regarding the transfer of functions between the departments, the relinquishing department shall transfer all task resources to the receiving department so that those particular tasks can be shared. The recipient department shall also coordinate the transfer and ensure that the employees, in terms of conditions of employment or upon transfer or the whole or less favorable, they can be in a position to be employed by the relinquishing department. Basically, this is what we have done, and we have already written to the relevant minister and the president to allow this declaration to be granted permission, and we did that on the 5th of August. As soon as we get a response, we'll be in a position to provide that response. In terms of a legal advice that you are asking, sourcing a legal advice is not a stipulated clause in the legislation that empowers the Premier to establish, merge, separate, or abolish any provincial department. It is the prerogative of the Premier to appoint between 5 and 10 members of the Legislature as members of the Executive Council and to designate the portfolios that they will each be responsible for. This is contained in the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa as stipulated. In terms of the cost-benefit analysis, the National Development Plan articulates the vision of a developmental state that requires building a state capacity as an important step to achieve a developmental state, and provincial configuration is derived primarily from the national configuration. The clustering of homogeneous or separation of functions to ensure that functional areas of responsibility are clearly demarcated to avoid ambiguity and the overlapping or duplication of functions. In terms of your last question of what process was followed to separate the budget, the process of the separation of budget elements for the Department of Environment from budget elements from the Department of Agriculture and Rural Development will take place after the presidency permits the office of the Premier to issue that proclamation. As indicated earlier on, we made submission in this regard on the 5th of August. But in the meantime, the Gauteng Provincial Treasury and National Treasury will play a role in preparing the systems, templates, and other documents for changes to be affected in departments. For Treasury to create a database for a newly established department on BAS, PESAL, and SAP, and a new department must submit its budget documents together with a proclamation and a written agreement on transfer of functions. But to date, we are quite excited that the two executive authorities and the accounting officers have been working together to ensure that neither of the two departments is disadvantaged by this change of departments and also transfer of functions. Thank you so much, Member Msimanga.
Okay, thank you, Premier. Honorable Msimanga, do you have a supplementary question or a short remark?
A short remark, Madam Speaker. Premier, you'd agree that your opening statement actually confirms that separating the two was actually a mistake. Because if you're looking at environment, you're looking at agriculture and rural development, you should actually be bringing them together. Because when you're talking about the developmental state and the development of rural areas, I can give you an example of Yexke River, what is happening because of lack of development that is taking place there and the environmental impact that is having, not only around the people that are living around the Jexkay River, but close. If you go to Centurion and you go further down, and actually even going towards the river, in terms of what is happening and the flow of sewer and all that is being dumped into there, that creates problems down the line. I can take you to Sidibeng. You can go and look at what is happening around your Val River system and what is actually happening there because of the environmental degradation that is actually taking place there, and the lack of rural development and infrastructure maintenance that has led to sewer flowing into the Val River system. That says then that you will not be able to then deal with the issues of environment if you're not dealing with the issues of rural development. And that's what is happening around the people that are settling around the banks there. Therefore, I'm saying to you that you cannot, and this was actually a great mistake, of separating the two and thinking that you will have the biggest impact.
Announcement. Member Msimang went on record that the separation of these two departments was his idea. You were on record, and we'll show you.
I'll send you.
No, Member Msimang, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay, honorable members, let's allow the Premier to respond.
If you dispute that, it means that is why I'm asking whether should I forever take you serious on the advice that you give us. Because I take your advice very serious. You are a leader of opposition, you are a leader of a credible party, and your views must be incorporated in government. And when you said that this was your original idea, that the two departments must be separated, I welcomed that view. Least did I know that you'll send me a question to challenge the same thing that you said you advised us to deal with it. But nevertheless, let me emphasize these two particular points, Member Msimang. Water is a scarce resource. In this particular province, we had almost 2 months where people were without water. And the main reason is not that we don't have water. The main reason is that almost 37% of water is lost through illegal connections, and the number of water that Rand Water can decant from the Department of Water and Sanitation, we've reached that ceiling. So you need a dedicated team to go and look for these water leakages and assist municipalities. Because 37% of water that is lost in this province is just too much. And it's very important, therefore, that you have a dedicated department that can assist us with that particular mandate, coordinated through COCTA so that they can work together and assist our municipalities. I had a session with the Rand Water, I had a session with all the executive mayors. And in that particular session, the biggest threat to this province is lack of water. And if we don't put systems in place and a department in place to assist us to monitor this particular task, we're going to have problems. But besides, how many lakes that we have that are unattended? Take Jexkay itself. It flows clean, it comes to our townships, it's dirty. By the time it goes to the Crocodile River, it's clean. Because either they are private sector individuals that are assisting us to make that responsibility to come clean. Therefore, we need a department that will intervene and clean all the rivers that are going through difficulties in our province. And I'm glad that you have quoted the challenge of the Val River. It saddens me that many investors are leaving that area because there's no oversight on the department that is responsible to clean that thing. The same happened with RTPS. We lost many people who have bought their houses there that have abandoned their houses there. In the absence of a dedicated authority to attend to these matters, it's going to be extremely difficult. It can't be done on an ad hoc basis. It needs to be done by a department that is fully capacitated. But secondly, the issue of green scorpions, to me it's very important. You can't have people do as they wish. they remove plants, they destroy plants, they dump anywhere without consequences because municipalities don't have resources to monitor those kind of things. And therefore, the re-establishment of green scorpions in this province, it's very important. And that is why we felt that this department must be given that budget and that mandate so that no one can do as they wish. We have to protect our environment. That's the only thing we have for us to live in this particular province so that we don't get sick and have other things. There are many private companies that have taken advantage of the weak relationship of local authorities. They dump wherever they like, anywhere. There are many construction companies. After constructing, they dump their waste anywhere, anytime. We need to strengthen local authorities to assist us to stop that kind of behavior. So we still feel that we have taken a correct decision. Important after being advised by you, that we need to ensure that agriculture, even though we might not be an agricultural province, that agriculture is given that specific role to intervene and assist the rural development areas that we need to. And the MEC has given us all the plans to ensure that we strengthen agriculture and provide the necessary assistance that are needed by our farmers, but most importantly, to protect our food security in our province. So we still remain convinced that the two departments are doing well and must be given support. Just wait for them to conclude their work. You will see that this was the correct decision that we have taken. And to the two MECs, don't be discouraged. Right on, right on. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much, Premier. I now call on Honorable Muketi to put a question. Dr. Muketi.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
It was for you and
Speaker,
Chief Whip, just hold on. Honorable Muketi, proceed.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Greetings to the Honorable Premier and the honorable members and our visitors. In terms of Rule 138, the question to the Premier goes as follows. Noting that the Nazi Span initiative was launched in 2023 by the ANC-led Gauteng Provincial Government, can the Premier please indicate, 1, how many jobs in total have been created since the launch of the Nazi Span program? 2, how many out of the jobs created are permanent and how many are contract? And lastly, 3, please indicate the number of jobs created for youth, women, people with disability, military veterans, and vulnerable groups. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Muketi. Premier.
Thank you so much, Dr. Muketi, for the question. Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Our Nazi Span program was an interim intervention to assist those that are in need of job opportunities, but most importantly, to render skills development program to those that needed skills. Joshua Dodd, listen. Listen. Listen, Joshua. Please, listen. So,
honorable members, let's allow the Premier to respond. Let's allow the Premier to respond, honorable members.
So in our state of the province address, we've indicated the firm investment that we have received, and we're going to update this particular house of the permanent jobs that are going to be created by the investment that we've announced. Yesterday, we welcomed the announcement by Sandral to invest almost 50 billion in the country in terms of road infrastructure. And some of these 3 big infrastructure roads will be in Gauteng, adding to additional responsibilities to create opportunities in our province. So to answer you, Dr. Muketi, we are proud that as this provincial government, out of the vacancies that were available in our province, vacancies that were across all departments on the basis of the advertisement that we placed on the 16th of June in various newspapers. 57,325 job opportunities were created out of this particular program, which is very important that when there are vacancies, something, again, Member Msimang, you advised us that we must fill vacancies that are available within the department. But we went on as a province to ensure that we capacitate those that are unemployed with the necessary skills that will assist them. So the Department of Sports, Arts, Recreation and Culture went on a youth development program that attracted 606 young people. The Department of Road and Transport acquired 385 young people to maintain roads. The Department of Infrastructure Development acquired 1,095 young people for maintenance of buildings in clearing of vacant land. The Department of Agriculture, or GDAT, had 6,000 Green Army officers to assist communities to establish food gardens and also to ensure that the environment is kept clean in our province. We also have 3,000 Sawubona Mhlali service delivery brigades in the Department of Social Development to foster intergovernmental collaboration. We also had 1,000 assisting communities on voter registration through the Department of COCTA. We also had 6,000 young people that are now 8,000 that are in the Department of Community Safety as wardens. We also had 2,900 practitioners from the Department of Education as ECD officers that are assisting the department in the support of this particular sector. The Department of Education also had 800 building inspectors so that they can be trained as professional and certified building inspectors in all government buildings in our province. We also went on through the Department of Education to train 6,000 solar technicians to prepare for renewable energy skills pipeline that are needed in the sector. And the same department also provided teacher assistants and teacher service providers to the number of 30,000, assisting them to be onboarded and be given skills that are related to teaching. And we also had almost 600 that has been given the necessary support to provide all 3,000, so the military veterans, to provide support so that military veterans are not left out. From all this number, Dr. Mkheki, it's quite clear there are people that used to beg for assistance are no longer begging. They can buy and entertain their families out of the intervention of this government. And we are proud of the investment that we've made. Thank you so much, Madam Speaker.
Okay, thank you, Premier. Honorable Dr. Mkheki, do you have a supplementary question or a short remark?
Okay, no, thank you very much, Speaker. Just to say to the Premier, keep up the good work, Premier, because... Hey.
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable Dr. Mkheki. So in terms of Rule 138, subsection 9, I now put up a... I now open for additional supplementary questions or additional remarks by members who wish to do so. Okay. Thank you very much. Premier, do you want to respond to the short remark?
I just want to thank Member Mkheki for this question. It's a very important question, just to clarify some of these things that are in the public domain. So, Member Mkheki, thank you so much for this question. Really appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you, Premier. Honorable Mkheki, you may pose your question to the Premier.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. In terms of Rule 138, I wish to ask the Premier this question. Noting the commitment made by the Premier in the February 2023 SOPA to prioritize fighting crime and noting that Pretoria and Johannesburg were among the cities with high crime rate in the first quarter of 2024, can the Premier please indicate, one, what interventions has the Gauteng Provincial Government implemented to curb crime since the fight against crime became an apex priority? Two, has Gauteng government formed partnerships with private security companies and other law enforcement agencies to fight crime? If yes, how has this assisted GPG in the fight against crime If not, why? And 3, how does the Gauteng provincial government budget address issues of crime?
Thank you very much, Honorable Mikwe. Premier, you may respond.
Thank you so much, Member Linti Mikwe, for the question. We have developed what we called a 9-point integrated crime prevention plan to assist the fight of crime, the fight against crime in our province. The first point within our plan is the resourcing of the Department of Community Safety. Another advice that we got from Member Msimang, that you can't fight crime when the budget for the Department of Community Safety is so low. Based on the advice from Member Msimang, the budget of this department was moved from almost 800, 900 million to almost 2.8 billion in the financial year that passed. In this current financial year is on 2.3 billion. This is to source all the support that we need to fight crime in our province. The second point of our strategy was the resourcing for the SAPS. We've managed to acquire almost 385 cars for the SAPS. We've managed to hire almost 3 helicopters for the SAPS. In communities where people have just established a community and there is no police station, we've put up mobile police stations to assist the SAPS. Point 3 of our commitment to fight crime was to establish what we call a force multiplier force. We started with 6,000 wardens. We then went to recruit 3,000 wardens from colored communities, Indian communities, white areas that didn't apply for this particular job. Last week, we've just received almost 2,500 veterans that were trained by the Army to come and add to this number. So we've got almost 10,000 men and women that can be distributed across all sectors of our province to assist us to fight crime. The fourth point of our strategy was the use of technologies to supplement law enforcement support. We now have drones, we now have e-panic buttons, we now have CCTV cameras, and we are proud that we are working together with Sandral, that we can use the e-toll gantries as a tool that can be utilized to fight crime in our province. The fifth point was to drive our province into a cashless province. We are of the view that we are one province that is better positioned to eliminate cash, not completely, but ensure that cash is as minimum as possible. And we are proud that through our engagement with the hospitality industry, majority of hotels in Gauteng are no longer taking cash, which means that we will not have high level of cash heist, ATM bombings, or business robberies. We are also moving to the retail industry. There are various retail industries that are willing to convert their stores into cashless stores, where people can use their cell phone apps to pay, or people can use card rather than carry cash. We are moving. We've had 2 sessions with taverns. We also have 2 sessions with small businesses, and we also had a session with the taxi industry so that they can also move into a cashless environment, because in the absence of cash, we are of the view that we will not be in a position to have cash heist and all these things that are happening. The 6th point of our strategy is to change the car registration regime. In each and every violent activity in this particular province, a car or a motor vehicle is involved. And the car registration regime has been compromised. Many people can get a car registration number and change it as they wish. We are now introducing a new number plate for the province that can be read by our CCTV cameras, and we are going to give our law enforcement agencies handheld devices. If a car has been stolen and it passes a law enforcement agency using that particular device, they'll be in a position to chase and track that particular car. So the new registration numbers are coming into effect at the beginning of 2025. We are piloting the project with government cars now to ensure that the car registration regime is strengthened, is not compromised. You can't just have any person in the middle of a CBD saying they can sell a registration number plate to you. We are stopping that trend because that's where criminals are taking advantage to stop that point. The 7th point is lighting at strategic areas. There are many areas in our townships, informal settlement and hostels, that lighting is bad. We've put solar high mast lights so that our people can be safe at night. We are also improving strategic areas in the township, informal settlements and hostels and CBDs with cameras, e-panic buttons, and most importantly, with additional volunteers that are assisting us to support our communities. And the last aspect is building of a command center to coordinate crime prevention programs. The command center will coordinate all our taxi ranks, entrances and exits of major townships, and also track strategic areas that will ensure that we deal with these particular matters. And we are proud, Member Msimang, that the latest statistics that were released by the Minister of Police, only one province saw the decline in crime. And you can guess that province is Gauteng. The number might not be the way we want it, but at least we have arrested the sudden increase and spike. We are proud that cash heists have gone down, murder has gone down, truck hijackings has gone down. The only area that has gone up in Gauteng, and that worries us big time, it's rape, or rape reports that we have received in our province. We are going to put the necessary systems to deal with these things. We are continuing to identify, Member Linting, we have continued to identify strategic areas that need to be shut down for a weekend, for a complete search for missing people, but also to assist us to get the most wanted criminals. Over the weekend, we shut down the CBD of Johannesburg, and we've received reports of truck loads that have been arrested and the people that police have been looking for, that they find hijacked cars and people that have been kept against their will in this particular province. So we'll continue to do that. But we are also putting up new units that will assist us at with the following interventions. Anti-land invasion unit is trained, ready. We are also putting a unit that will specialize on scrapyards. We are also migrating a team to the Department of Roads and Transport to fight taxi violence. We're establishing a new GBV unit to assist us with the now sudden increase in rape, and also putting and strengthening our saturation unit. We are also proud that amongst the top 30 police stations with the highest crime, amongst the top 10, there's no single police station from Gauteng. Amongst the top 20, there's no single police station from Gauteng. It's only in the top 30 that we've got 5 police stations that are coming from Gauteng, and we used to occupy the first police stations that were high in terms of crime statistics, confirming that our intervention are starting to yield results. The decline is too low for our liking, but at least it has given us an opportunity to start to work on these particular matters. And I want to thank you, Member Linting, for the question. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable Premier. Honorable Mekwe, you may ask a supplementary question or make a short remark.
Thank you very much. It's a short remark. I wish to congratulate all efforts because the Premier made this commitment in 2023, and we can see the results already in terms of the implementation. But let's ensure that we build the organs of people's power, learning from countries like Cuba, where crime rate is at its lowest. Let's also enhance active citizenry against crime, so that all those doomsayers, abati, it will never happen. They can be doomed forever. Thank you.
Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mekwe. In terms of, is that a point of order?
Yeah, I rise on Rule 138, subsection 9, to make a comment.
Yeah, I'm still going to open for that. 138, subsection 9.
Yes.
Yeah, you are in a hurry. Just hold on. Honorable members, in terms of Rule 138, subsection 9, are now open for additional supplementary questions or additional remarks by members who wish to do so. Honourable Bosch.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Premier Lesufi, I'm not sure which crime stats did you interrogate when you decided to draft your responses, but the crime statistics that was released on Friday for the first quarter of 2024-2025 states that Gauteng had the highest contribution to contact crimes in the country, with 26.3%, and out of the top 30 police stations where incidents were reported, 11 were located in Gauteng. Gauteng is also the second highest contributor of murder in the country at 22.3%. And Gauteng motorists were also reported to be under attack, with Gauteng being the highest contributor nationally at a staggering 47.9%. Reported kidnappings also went up. From 2,068 in the first quarter of 2023 to 2,237 in this first quarter, which is an 8.2% increase. So I'm not sure that these stats are supporting your assertion, Mr. Premier. So I think you need to interrogate the stats a bit more, because clearly the crime prevention strategies in this province is not working.
Okay. Honourable Shabalala, and then you'll be the third one. Okay. Honourable Shabalala.
Okay. No, thank you, Madam Speaker. While Member Mekwe is congratulating the Premier, I need to check from the Premier. Premier, has your wardens, I'll say your wardens because the competency of community safety is now located in your office. Have they not wasted the limited and precious resources that we have in the province through reckless crashes of luxury cars, and also some are facing lawsuits and some are facing criminal charges? Thank you.
Honourable Member, Honourable Moodley.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Speaker. Mr. Premier, you spoke about mobile police stations. During the COVID period 2020, there was quite a number of so-called mobile police stations, including a little cell and so on, that was at extreme expense procured by the province. How many of those are still in existence and where are they being used? I don't think you'll know where they're used, but more or less how many of them are still in existence? And then you speak about 2,000 vets being trained by the Army. I'm concerned. Our Defence Force gets trained for a specific task, and that is the defence of our country. And our police is a complete different training that they receive. How is it that our vets, more specifically, that you talk about, get trained by the Army? It's really puzzling, because we don't want skop, skit and donor type of policing in South Africa. We want a little bit of a soft approach, but with a steel hand in a silver glove. So please, Mr. Premier, can you please explain that training to us?
Okay, is there any other member? Okay, Premier.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. I'm proud that for the very first time from the opposition benches, they can't quote statistics about crime in the Western Cape. Yeah. They can't. They can't. And it's a, no. Joshua Dog, I think, I'm saying we've got 5 police stations in the top 30, and the province that is leading in the top 30 with police station that can police crime is in the Western Cape. Yes. And if you check our population in Gauteng and check the population on Western Cape, this is why Member Lincoln can congratulate us, because we are 3 times the population on Western Cape, but we are not even in the top 5 of West things that we can. And that's a fact. That's a fact. And most importantly, you check the number of gang violence. The Western Cape lead with gang-related murders of 234 cases. And Gauteng does not even feature in that. It's followed by Eastern Cape with 13 gang-related features. So we are not claiming easy victory. The number of people that are still murdered in our province, it's too high. What we are saying, we've managed to arrest the galloping figures that used to characterize crime in our province. And we are not sitting on our laurels on the basis of these statistics, but we say there is proof that our intervention is starting to yield results. It might not be ideal, but at least it has given us something that we can deal with. Not to have Gauteng police station in the top 10 West police station, it's a major victory for our province, because we used to occupy and to have almost 3 police stations in the top 10. We don't have a single police station in Gauteng in the top 10, and it's a fact, and we must not sit on our laurels, and agree with you, Member Msimang, we must accelerate the fight against crime. Crime in our province, actually, our province is the epicenter of crime, and that's the reason why we want to make the intervention that we are making. I want to take to a question on wardens crashing cars and other. It's the nature of their work. It's the nature of their work. If you have to chase a criminal, you have to chase a criminal on the basis of the work that they do. But there is no single policeman that takes a car and deliberately throw it in the ditch. It's purely on the basis of the nature of the work. We can check
Honorable
the
members,
statistics.
Premier, just hold on. Premier, hold on. Honorable members, you ask questions, and he is responding to them, but you're drowning him. You won't be able to hear. So give the Premier an opportunity to respond to the questions that you asked. Premier?
You can check the statistics of police as well in terms of the cars that they've crashed. It's not far-fetched from what we have, but we are putting the necessary systems and a new policy to manage that particular aspect. But we are proud of these young men and women. If I can show you, even including the rugby match that we had, the positive reports that people have given us that this warden stood there until the last car left the stadium. Something that is unknown from the law enforcement agencies. You can criticize them the way you want to criticize them, but the reality is that we held a successful, safe tournament at Ellis Park Stadium, and I think Member Greg explained that because of the joint operation we had of law enforcement agencies in our province. It's one activity, but we must continue and be consistent with other events. Member Moody, maybe bring me the question that you are raising formally. I'm not aware about the statistics that you are raising about our mobile police stations that are no longer where they were supposed to. As soon as we get that, we'll be in a position to answer your question. Thank you so much, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much, Premier. Honorable members, I want to draw your attention to the fact that we have 7 minutes left in the session of asking questions. So fortunately, the next question is short, so I am going to limit the supplementary questions and short remarks to allow members to ask the questions. Honorable Moody, what you want to rise on, please quote the rule number.
Yeah, no, it's just in
the
Premier
the
should
rule
please
number,
just
Honorable
respond
Moody,
to-
Honorable Moody,
Okay,
let's be orderly.
I give him a written question.
Honorable Msimang.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. You know, if Premier can provide the clip where I said you must separate the two, I'll buy the Chief Whip Takamaka and he will know exactly what Takamaka is. I'll buy that bottle of Takamaka for him. But in terms of a bottle of Takamaka, he knows what that is. If you can provide, no man, 7 minutes is it? In terms of Rule 138, Madam Speaker, with regards to the completed Special Investigating Unit's report on lifestyle audits received by the Premier, will the Premier please provide a copy of the SIE report? Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Msimang. Honorable Premier.
Thanks, Member Msimang, for the question. I want to confirm to you, Member Msimang, that I've now received the lifestyle audits of heads of departments, a commitment that was made by the ANC in its conference, and a commitment that has been taken to this legislature, and a commitment that was led by the premiers. I can confirm that when we came into office, of all the premiers, when Premier Makura was the premier, the MECs, 7 of the MECs were asked to go through lifestyle audits. They did that. When we made changes in November, there were 3 MECs that they had to go through lifestyle audits. They've gone through that process. In our last executive council, the new 3 MECs that came now have also accepted the offer to go through lifestyle audits. And that will then be finalized by the institution that has been appointed to deal with this. On Friday, the 30th, as I indicated at the State of the Province address, that I received a report from the SIU on lifestyle audits of 19 of our heads of departments, CEO of agencies, and that report, I'll await the SIU to take me through that report. Indeed, on Friday, led by the head of the SIU, I was taken through that particular report on the lifestyle audits. They emphasized that the Department of Public Service Administration have published a circular that makes lifestyle audits compulsory for those that need to go through lifestyle audits. So I now have a report, Member Msimang. Report. I've asked legal and the DG to check all the necessary legal requirements of making this report available, and as soon as I get that legal advice, we'll do so. I've invited the SIU, because that's their report, it's not our report. I've invited the SIU that early next week, they should take the people of Gauteng in confidence by making this report available, so that we've met all the necessary legal requirements. So this report will be made available next week, and on the basis of that, I'll hand it over to you when they make it available. Thank you so much. Truly appreciate that.
Thank you very much, Premier. Honorable Masoleng, you might pose a question to the Premier.
Thank you.
I'm limiting it, I said so. Just hold on, Honorable Masoleng. I stated very clearly that I'm going to limit the supplementary questions and short remarks. Honorable Masoleng, proceed.
I'm raising on Rule 138. Premier, in your State of Province address, you highlighted that 485 transformers across Ekurhuleni, Vaal, Johannesburg, Westland, and Tshwane were installed now. And my first question, can you please provide a detailed breakdown of the 485 transformers installed per municipality, including the exact addresses and locations of the installed transformers, in order to ensure transparency and accountability? Number 2, can you provide the total amount spent on these installations, broken down in rands and cents per municipality? Number 3, what are the measures that the Premier will be instituting in order to ensure that these transformers and transformers all across the province are safeguarded from vandalism, theft, and damage? Number 4, what measures has the Premier taken to ensure the safety of technical staff and engineers whom are deployed to deal with on-site technical issues? Thank you.
Premier, just hold on. Before you respond to the question, I just need to do the following. In terms of Rule 138, subsection 9, the presiding officer can use her or his discretion to allow supplementary questions or short remarks. I'm not going to get into a discussion with you, Honorable Nell. The rules are very clear.
Point of order, Madam Speaker.
What rule are you raising on? What rule are you raising on? The rule?
89. I request that this item be referred to the Rules
Yes,
Committee.
it may be.
It does not apply.
No,
it does not apply
Premier,
to the
no.
poser of the
No,
question.
I responded to your concern. Premier, you may respond to the question. Honorable Nell, I'm going to ask you one more time that you be honorable. Yeah, just be honorable and allow the House to proceed. Okay? I addressed your concern. Yes, I did. You said you're referring it, and I said you may do so. Premier, proceed.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, and thank you so much, Member Masoleng, for the question. We have requested that we give you a breakdown of the 485 transformers and where they are located. Please bear with me, I'm going to go region by region. In Ekurhulene's Benoni, we planned 7, we received 0 complaint, we replaced 9. In Niger, we planned for 14, we received 0 complaint, we replaced 20. In Johannesburg, the Sentin area, they say Sentin, but it covers your Ivory Park, Alexander, and all those areas. We planned 53, we received 34 complaints, and we replaced 66. In Soweto, we planned 84, we received 2 complaints, we replaced 117. In Tshwane East, we planned 5, we received 0 complaint, we replaced 5. Tshwane West, we planned 76, we received 8 complaints, we replaced 61. West Rand, the Randfontein area, we planned 66, we received 0 complaints, we replaced all the 66. In Vaal, Vereeniging, we planned 217, we received 36 complaints, we replaced 143. In total, there were 555 transformers that needed to be replaced. We replaced 485 of those transformers. You requested that we provided the total amount spent on this installation, excluding the fee that is under ESCOM. In terms of the work that we've done with City Power and other municipalities, we invested 450 million as the provincial government. What are the measures that we'll be instituting to ensure that these transformers and transformers across the province are safeguarded? We've put security features, including CCTV, patrol, and we've also involved communities in terms of awareness campaigns so that they must not allow Izinyoga to go up and interfere. But this new form of transformers are linked to a prepaid meter so that each and every prepaid meter is linked to the transformer. And those that pay can be in a position to get access to energy, and those that don't pay, unfortunately, they can't get access to energy. And we've also put strong measures in terms of removing illegal connections, and we are making regular audits and inspections. You asked what are the measures that we're going to take to ensure safety of technical staff. We've arranged for security escorts. We've also made risk assessment and safety protocols of those that work, and we also established an emergency response team that can be supported by our law enforcement agencies. And we're having a collaboration with local communities who are alerting us of areas that need our immediate attention. Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, and thanks, Member Masolo.
Thank you very much, Premier. Yes, do you have a short remark? No?
Yes.
No?
Thank you.
I will explain what I did. No, no, no.
Thank you, Madam
Honourable
Speaker.
Masoleng.
Madam Speaker, we have asked for the address and locations. Unfortunately, the Premier has only given us the areas. We want the exact address.
The Premier is not
if
going
we
to
can't
hear.
provide them now,
The
can
Premier
you
is not
do
going
it
to
through
hear.
the email?
The Premier is not going to hear. Honourable Masoleng, just hold on. Honourable Msimanga, you know what you're supposed to do if you have a concern.
Point of order.
No.
Point
I'm
of
not
order.
going to.
You
I'm not
allowing
going to
her
get
to
into.
do what you said I could not do. Be fair, Madam.
Was
Speaker.
it you who wanted, or Honourable
No,
Nel?
but I asked you. I asked you first before.
No,
you
it was
did.
Honourable
But
Nel.
I asked you, can I
No,
have a follow-up
Honourable
question?
Smaga,
I
no.
posed
No,
a question.
honourable members,
I asked for
no.
No, but Madam Speaker, you need to be fair.
No.
You honestly need to be fair, and you need to apply the rules fairly here. I asked, can I have a follow-up question? You said you are limiting it, and you are allowing her to have a follow-up question. Why
Honourable
allowing her to have a
Msimanga.
follow-up question if you denied me to have a follow-up question?
Honourable Msimanga, it was Honourable Nel, it was not you.
I asked you before he stood up. I
No,
asked
it
you,
was
and I
Honourable
said,
Nel.
can I have?
I'm
I
not
have
going
the
to
right
get into an
have a
argument
follow-up
with you.
question. You denied me.
It was Honourable Nel who wanted to speak. Please take your seat. Take your seat.
Limiting. No, you
It was
said,
Honourable Nel.
No, I'm asking
and
you,
I
can you
responded
apply
to
the
his
rules fairly?
concern.
Would you please
The
apply
rules
apply
are
the
applied
rules
fairly.
I
I'm
asked
doing
you,
just
can I have
that.
a follow-up question?
No,
you
Honorable
said you're limiting
Simanga,
everybody
it was
else.
Honorable
And you went
Nel.
straight to the next question. And after that, you then said up to her, she can have a follow-up question. So what is the limitation in there?
Honorable
and why are you not applying the
Simanga,
rules fairly here?
Honorable Simanga, it was Honorable Nel, and
asked you
no,
before
no, don't repeat what you said.
Before
I'm
Member
not
Nel
deaf.
stood
No,
up, I
no.
asked you. He asked a point of order. When I asked you and you said no, that's when he raised the point of order.
Honorable Simanga, take your
Are you
seat.
going to allow me to have a
No,
follow-up?
I'm not.
No, then what
Then
is the
refer
point
the
of us
matter.
having this
Refer
conversation?
the matter. You know
Madam
what you're
Chair,
supposed to do.
Madam Chair, I'm asking you to be fair in that seat.
I am being
asking
fair.
you to be fair
I
and
am.
to be consistent in that seat.
I am being fair and I'm
You
being
are not
consistent.
you are not being. I'm
No,
asking
no,
if I can
Honorable
have my
Simanga, I
follow-up
may have
question.
to ask you to leave the house now.
No, I'm not going to.
No.
I'm not going to. We have never.
No, he
we've
knows
always
that he's
said-
supposed to
we've always
refrain.
said that we'll
No,
treat
you
this
know
house
what
with
you're supposed
decorum.
to do,
We'll
Honorable
treat this house
Simanga.
with decorum, but if you give us the same, you cannot ask for decorum from us if you are not holding, if you are not being fair sitting
Honorable
there.
Simanga.
You cannot do
Honorable
that, Madam
Simanga.
Chair. You really cannot do that.
Honorable
I want to
Simanga.
respect you. I will always respect you. But I'm asking you to be fair, and you are not being fair. You are not being fair. I'm asking you to be fair sitting there. Can you accept that you made a mistake, correct it, and then we're able to move on?
Honorable Simanga.
Correct it, and then we move on. If you're not going to, you can. I will stand here until you correct that mistake.
Honorable Simanga, I responded to that concern that was raised by Honorable Nel, and I clearly stated that he can refer it to the Rules Committee and the matter will be addressed there. And before then, I said I'm going to limit the additional rule 188 subsection 9.
But you're allowing it.
No, it's here. It's the person who posed the question.
I
It's
posed the question,
additional
that's why I
members.
asked the question
But you
for
heard
now.
your remark.
I'm the one who asked the first
It
question.
was Nel who wanted. It was Honorable Nel who
I said
wanted.
to you, can I have a follow-up
No,
question? You said
Honorable
no.
Simanga.
And then that's what, Madam Chair,
No, Honorable
I'm
Simanga.
asking you to be
No,
fair in your
no,
ruling.
just hold on.
And you are not being fair in your ruling.
Honorable Simanga, the Rules Committee will deal with the matter. And if it's
You
found,
never allowed me an opportunity to have a follow-up.
So what do you
I
suggest
asked
we do?
you- Did you even ask me if I have a follow-up question?
Honorable
Because
Simanga.
according to the rules said that you're supposed to ask me if I have a follow-up. You never even asked me if I have a follow-up question. You jumped straight to it, and I said, no, you're not allowing me. And then you said, no, I'm cutting the
Honorable
response.
Simanga.
That's what
Honorable
happens here.
Simanga.
Can we listen to answer?
Honorable Simanga.
Can we listen to answer?
Yes, Hansard will be listened to in the Rules Committee. And I
I'm
will
asking
be.
you to be fair in your ruling.
And I will
we
be.
are here all coming here to do a job.
Yes.
And we are here trying to respect you. We're asking you to respect us.
Yeah.
We're asking
No,
you
I'll
to
do
act in
that.
fairness.
Yeah. Honorable Simanga, I said it will be referred to the Rules Committee.
Did you ask me if I have a follow-up?
It was Honorable Nel who wanted to speak.
No, it's your job to ask me if I have a follow-up.
Honorable Simanga. No,
It's your job to ask me if I have a follow-up.
Give me the
You
rule.
never even
Give me
asked
the rule.
if I have a follow-up.
No, give me the rule.
If it was a man who was not going to do this,
We cannot start on this
call the
point.
guy
We
from
cannot
Maxwell
begin to
to
do
come
that.
and
If you refuse me, why you allowing the others to have? It's your job to ask me
I
if
know.
I have a follow-up.
But it was
You
Nel who
never
wanted
even
to ask
asked
the
me if
question.
I
It
have a
was
follow-up.
not him.
point.
Honorable members, Honorable Simang, Honorable Simang.
You never applied it.
Ma'am, did you
Honorable
ask me?
Simang, I want
Yes.
to address you. Just calm down. Calm down. Who's raising a point of order? Yes. The rule, please remember to raise the rule.
Rule 89. How come?
No.
Remember,
No,
Shabalala,
Honorable
this is not
Chabalala. Honorable,
enfulling.
just hold on, Doctor. Honorable
This is not
Chabalala,
enfulling,
Honorable
Member
Simango has a
Shabalala.
genuine concern. And that's exactly what I'm trying to address. Please do not reduce it to a joke. Okay? Thank you. Doctor, proceed.
We take the conduct of Member Simang with great contempt. I think it amounts to high levels of sexism and disrespect. And I think we are not going to be allowed to be abused. We are not going to be allowed to be abused. It's a high level
Honorable
of
members.
of sexism. Because if it was a man, Member Msimang, you were not going
You want to bring the race card as well?
We're
not here to serve you. Sit down, man. I'm asking a fair question here. We are here.
I think that man can sort you out. But
What
this is
sexism
high
is that?
level of sexism.
What sexism is
This
that?
is high level of sexism.
What sexism is that? The next thing you're going to be
High
bringing
level of
is
sexism.
sit down, man.
This is what you
We're not here to
do.
listen
This
to
is
you.
what you do to
What
member
nonsense is
check
that?
every time.
What
High
sexism
level
in
of
what I said?
sexism
Order,
and
honorable
racism.
members, order,
You
honorable
always do
Msimang,
this all the
honorable
time.
Msimang.
We have been keeping quiet.
Do not allow this to deteriorate,
We have
please.
been watching you
No.
presiding
Honorable
over
Msimang,
an opposition
please.
that excludes
Allow
women,
members to speak.
that exclude black and African. The number of Africans that DA has reduced is because of your attitude and your sexism. This is what we are seeing. This is what we are looking at. The number of Africans and women in the DA caucus is reducing. This is an element of sexism. It's continuing. And racism. You are covering elderly people in your caucus.
Okay, honorable members, Honorable Msimang, I note that you are very unhappy, you are upset, and we're going to apply the rules as follows. The matter is going to be referred to the Rules Committee, and then it's going to be addressed there. I want to make sure that it is properly ventilated in the Rules Committee. And no, Honorable Msimang, I want us to retain the decorum of the House. And I'm saying the matter is going to be referred to the Rules Committee, and it's going to be ventilated there. You sit in that committee. And then I will come back with whatever decision that Rules Committee decides, and it will be read in the House. Can we proceed?
Point of order.
Yes.
Madam Speaker, I request that the specific rule being referred to the Rules Committee is your interpretation of 138 sub 8. Thank you.
No, I'm aware of the rule, and like I said, we're not going to discuss this anymore. It's going to be referred to the Rules Committee. Fine, thank you very much. Honorable Masole?
Yeah, it's a transformer tower. I was saying, Madam Speaker, the Premier has given us a list of areas, but our question is clear. We need the addresses and the locations. If the Premier cannot provide them here now, I guess that information is readily available. Can he please email the addresses and the location? Thank you very much.
Premier?
Speaker?
Premier, no. Honorable Chabalala, we are not going to go through that again. You are not recognized. No, take your seat. You are not recognized. Take your seat.
Can I say something?
Take your
I will
seat.
take my seat. Can I say something?
Are you raising a point of order?
No, I'm saying, can I say
take
something?
your seat. Take your seat.
Madam Speaker, listen.
No.
You said,
No. Take your seat.
You said you are going to limit.
Premier, you may proceed. Honorable Chabalala, try to be honorable. At least try. Try to be honorable. Okay, give me the order. Give me the rule that I'm going to ask him to leave the House now. Go tell Lion, please. That rule.
Thank you so much,
Premier, respond.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. I've noted the request of Member Masole. Thank you so much. We'll do that. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much, honorable members. We have one question left to the Premier. I think it's going to be read by Honorable... who? Abrahams. Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Greetings, Madam Speaker, Honourable Premier. Very sad to see this divorce. Jo, is maar sleg, jong, die egskeiding. Is nie lekker egskeiding nie. My question is to the egskeiding. Sorry. My question is to the member of the Executive Council to Environment. The month of May has saw an end to the Gauteng Green Brigades. The Economic Freedom Fighters has previously cautioned against the precarious employment opportunities.
Honorable Abrams, yes. Just hold on. The question that you're reading is not the one that I have in front of me.
Is it not?
Just hold on. Hold on. Yeah.
You see now.
No. Honorable
it's said,
Msimang,
Marnet.
please. Wait. Okay.
Is it
Honorable
not-
Abrams, it's Honorable Chabalala. Luena ulibani kilibati. Honorable Abrams, it's supposed to be Honorable Kanaswaniki Mamme? Maloka. Yeah. She is reading Honorable Makwala's question.
Oh, is it Makwala, not
Yes.
Makenas? Okay.
Yeah.
I do apologize, Madam Speaker.
Proceed, Honorable Maluka.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Ke dumedise ntlo kaofela ka kakaretso. As part of the Premier's very ambitious SOPA, plans for an 800 megawatt solar farm to be located in Mirafong were unveiled. The economic freedom fighters raised alarm bells over the lack of public consultative process around the process project, where local communities as well as local business and other stakeholders were not adequately engaged to form part of this project. This initiative was, however, seemingly absent from the recent SOPA, and very little update has been provided on its status, and we are left wondering if perhaps Sunrise found the Premier where the sunset had left him. What is the status of the solar farm, where agreements signed with all 6 of independent power producers? 2, in terms of the 6 independent producers, are they any that are youth or women owned, and were efforts undertaken to empower SMMEs of Mirafo through this initiative? 3, in terms of this project, creating a linkage that benefited the entire community, how many direct and indirect jobs are forecasted through this project? And lastly, upon the project's completion, will the energy feed into the ESCOM grid as part of the REIPP program, or will the energy be brought from IPPs? And will this not negatively affect municipal revenue generation? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. Honorable Premier.
Thanks so much, Member Maloka. Thank you, Madam Speaker. In terms of question 1, 2 of the independent power producers have signed to date, with the remaining 4 still in negotiations with the landowner Sibanye, and a deadline has been set for the end of September for this process to be concluded. In terms of question 2, the qualification criteria for all independent power producers was to have representation at ownership and management level from women to youth, and the SMMEs in Mirafong will be empowered through the development of social development plans of the independent power producers when the project commences. In terms of question 3, the social development plans of the independent power producers will stipulate the number of jobs from construction to operations. And in terms of your last question, the independent power producers are open to have take-off agreement with ESCOM or to invite municipalities to utilize the energy that would have been generated. Thank you so much, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Premier. Honorable Maluk.
Thank you, Speaker.
Okay. Honorable members, that concludes questions to the Premier for oral reply. We now move to questions for oral reply to the Executive. Honorable Silias is going to be represented by Honorable Diacher.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise to ask a question on behalf of Honorable Silias. With regards to the first quarter 2024-25 report on e-government, will the MEC please indicate why were most key targets, especially for WAN, LAN, VoIP and Wi-Fi hotspots, scheduled for quarter 2 in 2024-25 and beyond? 2, what preparatory activities occurred in quarter 1 for 24-25 to ensure meeting future targets? 3, how were resources allocated in quarter 1 for 24-25 to support successful project implementation later? And what risk management strategies are in place for potential delays in infrastructure projects? Thank you.
Mr. Dlamini.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker, and thank you for the question. On question 1, in the approved annual performance plan for the 2024-2025 financial year, the Gauteng Department of E-Government outlined specific targets for wide area network, local area network, voice over internet protocol, and public Wi-Fi hotspots. These targets are integral to the department's commitment to modernizing government services and expanding digital infrastructure across the province. It is important to clarify that the targets set for each of these deliverables are accumulative, meaning they build up over the course of the financial year. The annual target is essentially the total of all the quarterly targets, reflecting progressive implementation throughout the year. Therefore, the achievement of targets in each quarter contributes to the fulfillment of the overall annual goal. For the first quarter of the 2024-2025 financial year, the department set specific targets as follows. The number of sites provided for the WAN connectivity, the annual target is to connect 353 sites with 80 sites scheduled for quarter 1. Number of sites provided with LAN connectivity, the annual target is 200 sites with 60 sites planned for quarter 1. The number of sites provided with VoIP services, the annual target is 200 sites with 50 sites expected to be connected in quarter 1. The number of Wi-Fi hotspots provided, the annual target is 250 hotspots. However, no hotspots were planned for quarter 1 with the rollout beginning in quarter 2. The department strategically scheduled the majority of the key targets for WAN, LAN, VoIP, and Wi-Fi to be implemented in the second quarter of the financial year and beyond for several critical reasons. 1 is planning and procurement processes. 2 is cumulative target achievement. 3 is resource allocation and budget management. 4 is optimizing impact and efficiency. Question 2, in the first quarter of the 2024-2025 financial year, the Gauteng Department of E-Government undertook a series of critical preparatory activities to lay the groundwork for meeting the ambitious targets set for subsequent quarters. These activities were essential to ensure the smooth and timely delivery of key infrastructure projects such as wide area network, local area network, voice over internet protocol, and Wi-Fi. Sorry about that. In response to your third question, on resources, in the first quarter of the 2024-2025 financial year, the Gauteng Department of E-Government took strategic steps to allocate resources effectively to ensure the successful implementation of critical infrastructure projects in the subsequent quarters. The allocation of resources during this period was pivotal in setting the stage for the timely and efficient execution of the department's target, particularly for projects involving the wide area network, local area network, and the voice of internet protocol and Wi-Fi hotspots. Key resource allocation activities in quarter 1 is consolidation of the bulk infrastructure. The joint venture overseeing the project took a proactive approach by conceptualizing and planning for the necessary bulk purchase orders early in quarter 1. This strategic move was crucial for the successful execution of the project. Bulk purchase orders refer to the procurement of large quantities of essential equipment and materials required for the various infrastructure projects. By consolidating the procurement needs into bulk order, the JV ensured that the project would have a steady and uninterrupted supply uninterrupted supply of resources. Timely approval of bulk purchase orders resource planning and project execution, strategic alignment of resources. The question 4, what risk management strategies are in place? The Gauteng Department of E-Government has implemented a comprehensive set of risk management strategies specially designed to address and mitigate potential delays in its infrastructure project. These strategies are crucial for ensuring that key initiatives such as the rollout of wide area network, local area network, voice over internet protocol, and Wi-Fi hotspot are delivered on time and within scope. Regular governance meetings for risk escalation are held. Daily project management office meet with CETA. Weekly project meetings with tripartite and client departments, executive level interventions, frequent engagement with HODs and ICT, escalation to executive management to address blockages. The risk management strategies employed by the Gauteng Department of E-Government are both proactive and responsive, ensuring that potential delays in infrastructure projects are managed efficiently. Through a structured approach that includes regular governance, meetings, executive-level interventions, and continuous engagement with senior management, the department is well equipped to mitigate risk and keep critical projects on track. These strategies are integral to the department's ability to deliver on its mandate and meet the ambitious targets set out in the annual performance plan for the 2024-2025 financial year. I will email you the full text of my of the answer, because it's very long. I've just summarized it for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honourable Member. Honourable Diaga, do you have a follow-up supplementary ask?
We will be waiting for the full answer and then do follow-ups. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable MEC. Do you want to acknowledge?
Thank you. Thank you. I'm fine.
Thank you. Next question, Honourable Member Nzeke. Please read your question.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. With regards to forensic audits that were conducted within the department, with that in mind, has an external service provider been appointed to conduct this audit? If yes, which persons or organizations? What is the cost of this exercise in rands and cents? What is the time allocated to conducting this investigation? What is the deadline on this investigation to be completed? And what percentage of the investigation has been completed? Thank you.
Honourable MEC, Masbo.
Masibonge Somlomo. Sibonge nombuzo osuka kuyilunga uNtshere. With regards to question number 1, yes, an external service provider was appointed in August 2023, and the forensic audit, as it was pronounced by Premier in the SOPA of 2023. On question number 2, FSG Africa was appointed by the department. On question number 3, the total cost for the forensic audit and investigation to date is 3,202,028.5. What is the time allocated? The audit was expected to have commenced immediately, and during the audit, due to nature and severity of some of the findings, further forensic investigations were necessitated to determine the impact of the findings, and the forensic investigation was expected to be finalized by the 20th of April, but the scope and expansion deemed it necessary for them to actually continue doing the work. All NPOs that contested the forensic audit were also given an opportunity for a right of reply. As a result, it made the finalization of the report not to be concluded. And question number 5, to date, almost 100% of the forensic report has actually been completed, and it is expected to be submitted by the 6th of September. Thank you, Nyabo.
A remark, a supplementary question?
Chair, considering how contentious this issue is, I'm hoping it's more of a remark that the MEC will table that report on the findings on the NPOs, since they were being investigated, which actually affected the funding. I think that is my remark, Chair, but thank you for the response, MEC.
Thank you. MEC, do you want to make a remark as well?
Somlomo, siyabonga kakhulu. Sesohlangana khona emarenkeni. Siyabonga.
Thank you, Honorable Nsege, once again. You can rise to read your question.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Regarding the NASA SPANI, 5,380 service delivery brigades, 28 service delivery team leaders and service delivery supervisor posts that were advertised on various community WhatsApp groups in Gauteng. On the adverts for each position, the closing date was the 1st of September 2023. With that in mind, how many brigades, team leaders and supervisors were finally appointed? What was the job description of each position? What were the qualifications of these positions? What was the requirements for the qualifications? For how long were they appointed? For which program were their salaries funded in the department? And what was the total cost of the program? Thank you, Deputy Speaker.
Honorable MEC.
Masibonga futhi somlomo. With regarding to the number of 5,388, I wish to dispute that number. The correct number, it was 2,395. It comes from what Member Nseke was actually asking. In responding to her question, brigades that as of the 22nd of August were being paid by the department is 1,608. Team leaders 261, supervisors 49, and secondly, what was the job description of each these brigades? They are doing sustainable livelihood, so they are the ones that assist people who request profiling and to be assisted with food. They deal with child protection services. They are utilized under the prevention of school social work program. And they also do awareness program to some of the schools, including outreach and profiling of mothers who are begging with their children on the streets. They also deal with HIV and AIDS, and they assist in uploading and assisting those that require help, as they've been referred by hospitals and they've been referred by various NPOs. They also deal with homelessness. They also deal with older persons and disabilities. They also deal with victim empowerment. They also deal with social crime. They deal with substance abuse. They deal with auxiliary services. They also deal, others are deployed to the office to assist officials at the HR, communication, and also supply chain. On question number 3, on their qualifications, most of the youth brigades supervisors, they have NQF level 6 and 7. Others also do have degrees with minimum requirement of 1 year. In developmental studies, the youth brigade team leaders, most of them have got matric and NQF level 5. Also in development-related qualifications, the youth brigades, majority of them do have grade 12 certificates. On question number 4, for how long have they been appointed? The brigades commenced their work in January, and we've extended their contracts until March of 2025. 2025. From which program were their salaries funded? They actually funded from program 5, and the cost as of the 22nd of August is standing at 49,445,497.65 cents. Thank you very much for the question. I see I'm the most famous MEC. I respond to many questions today. Thanking you.
Thank you, Stalo. Honorable Secretary, you have a short remark.
Chair, I don't know how to take this response. It worries me that the program is being funded out of program 5, not program 1, where compensation of employees comes from. Again, for me, this is a reiteration that this is an unfunded mandate. And we are protecting the Premier's reputation because we cannot cancel it because it will make the Premier look bad. For me, in social development, my understanding is we need social work professionals. Just going through the program, we need social workers. We need auxiliary social workers. We need caregivers. We need psychologists. We've only got 8 psychologists in the whole province, as an example. And we've got this nurses bunny going on. I mean, let's take a leaf out of the needs of the social ills. The crime stats talk to needs. that are increasing social ills, and then we hire Nasispani. We need to increase social work professionals. I've highlighted the various things. Where I found MEC a bit thin is when I asked for the qualifications. I wanted her to say to me, there are social work auxiliary, there are social workers, there are psychologists. Then I would have said, okay, maybe the umbrella is Nasispani, but they're actually social work professionals. They are not. And we are not talking to the core of the function of the department. Thank you.
Member MEC.
Masibonge somlomo umbono wakhe loyo. Ukuthi na senzani yena kwakhe akajabuleli ukuthi abantu bayancedwa le ngaphandle. Lokho kunye kuyisingisi sabo banibani no banibani umbono wakhe. Thina ke sizawuqhubeka ngabo laba abukuyibo sibabiza ukuthi phecelezi ama foot soldiers. Danke ngiyabo. So it means you can't hire admin. You must only hire.
Thank you very much, MEC. Honorable, Honorable Sharif, your question.
Thank you very much, Deputy Speaker. My question is for the MEC of Social Development. MEC, with regards to issues relating to both domestic violence or homelessness, of particular concern is the impact volatile familial situations can have on children, and to ensure that children are not separated from their parents to prevent secondary victimization. Number one, what assistance is offered to residents that are homeless because their entire families cannot afford accommodation, leaving both children and parents destitute? Number two, what assistance is offered to residents that are homed in situations where abused children or minors have run away? Number three, what assistance is offered to residents that are homeless in situations where children, minors, young adults who identify as LGBTIQA+ have been disowned by their families? Number four, what assistance is offered to residents that are homeless in instances where GBV causes a person to flee their home? And lastly, number five, what assistance is offered to residents that are homeless because a child of foreign origin escapes human trafficking and is deserted? Thank you.
Honorable MEC.
Masibonge somlo. Abon ngizingifana no real dwaba like her. Yes. Sukulana mfa. Ngisho ngafana no member ilunga lana yebo Tasnim sengela lapho yabona ngihleze emva kwakhe. Yebo yangifanela ne. Question 1, with assistance that is offered to residents that are homeless, we accommodate families that are destitute in family shelters. However, the accommodation is dependent on the availability of space. And in most NPOs that also do that work, because as the department, we only have CYCCs which only can cater for children that need help. With regards to question number 2, what assistance is offered to residents that our homes is situated, English. Social workers actually provide psychosocial support and child protection services and statutory intervention in terms of Children's Act 38 of 2005. On question 3, what assistance is offered to residents that are homeless in situations where children are minors, young adults who identify as the LGBTQI or have been disowned by their families? Persons who are your queer communities are actually accommodated in shelters, and services are also offered to also them, including psychosocial and reunification services. On question number 4, what assistance is offered to residents that are homeless? All homeless people who come into contact with shelters do receive psychosocial services and are also offered relevant resources. Others are offered also food, are also offered washing facilities for them in case they also need that. What assistance is offered to residents who are homeless because a child of foreign origin escapes human trafficking or is deserted? Foreign national children, Somlomo, also are cared for in terms of the Child Act and protection services, and the same as it happens also to children that are South African citizens. Hence, the child will appear before the Children's Court and be placed through statutory interventions in temporary safe care or alternative care, such as in our child and youth care centers. And in the case of trafficking or child exploitation, law enforcement and international social services, that country where the child originates and our South Africa are obliged to intervene and facilitate repatriation. And if found to be in a child's best interest, safety and well-being is actually also being taken care of. So basically all the children that find themselves, like the ones that were rescued recently here in Vlakfontein, they are still in our care because we're still awaiting their country of origin to indeed verify that they are children they come from Malawi. And the challenge also becomes on language, because now we have to find interpretation services to be able to interpret for that child and be able to confirm that indeed that child originates from that country. Siyabonga kakhulu Somlo.
Honorable Sharif, do you have a short one?
Thank you very much, Deputy Speaker, and thank you to the MEC for her responses. Deputy Speaker, the fact of the matter is not having an LGBT shelter within Gauteng or anywhere in the country, in fact, is problematic. Oftentimes, members of the LGBT they experience victimization in your male shelters or your female shelters because they are not accepted, or people don't understand that they are also need to be kept safe. So this is something I would urge the MEC to think of and look at getting specific shelters that can assist members of the LGBT community. Deputy Speaker, secondly, having family shelters, having not enough family shelters is the biggest problem. You see, Deputy Speaker, when dealing with GBVF, which I do on a daily basis, women are separated from their children because they are not allowed to go to the shelter if they have a boy child at a certain age. And that is problematic because it tears families apart. So I would urge the MEC to look at this and put it on the top of the agenda, because we must keep people safe, we must keep women safe, and we must keep members of the LGBT safe. Thank you.
MEC?
Hey, ngisebenzile namhlanje yazi nakushaya 15 sukuma hlala. Somlom, we appreciate the inputs by honorable member with regards to a proposal, Member Sharif. On the queer community, Tina, as the provincial government, we talk about mainstreaming. We don't separate them and say ninanhlala la, ninanhlala la, because even the Constitution does not allow us to actually do that. So when they are placed in a place of safety, of course their needs are actually taken care of, recognizing on what they will have declared. So to separate them according to their inclination, it's not assisting, but Tina, our policy is mainstreaming. So wonke, just like women, youth, people with disabilities, same does apply to them. On the issue of shelters for families, I suggest Member Sharif to also check with Member Nsege. Maybe she must consult her so that then kuzokwenzeka. Ngiyabonga kakhulu.
Siyabonga MEC. Honorable Das Santos, please read the question.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise to ask questions to the Honourable Member of the Executive Council for Education. With regard to school safety strategy, will the MEC please indicate the following? 1. Please provide the current school safety strategy. 2. Does the department comply fully with the school safety strategy? 3. If no to question 2, what are the reasons for this non-compliance? 4. When will the school safety strategy be reviewed? And 5. Given the increase of violence in and around schools, what immediate steps will the MEC implement to increase safety and security in schools? Thank you, Chair. Speaker.
Honourable Chila, MEC.
Thank you, Speaker. With regard to the first question, we would have provided Annex A, which is our school safety strategy, to the Honourable Member. With regard to question 2, the department complies with the school safety strategy. However, there are dependencies such as raids on tavern, shebeens, search and seizure of weapons, which require the support or intervention of, amongst other, the Liquor Board, the ACPS, and other law enforcement agencies, respectively. With regard to question 3, you said no, we answered you, so I'll refer you to the answer. With regard to question 4, the school safety strategy we've already begun to review it. We've started the review by the end of August 2024. With regard to question 5, the department is planning to improve its capacity of patrollers to enhance the safety of learners in school. The department further is conducting talks with the Department of Community Safety regarding additional deployments of the crime prevention wardens. We are providing additional funding to cover the cost of safety programs until the end of the current financial year, the 31st of March 2025, as the number of schools in high-risk areas is mounting on a daily basis, and this requires us to deploy emergency security guards with an intent to cover the cost implications. Thank you.
Thank you, Speaker. Not so much supplementary, but just to make a comment. With regards to when we're talking about the Gauteng Liquor Board and the shebeens that are around the schools, we asked questions quite some time ago to previous MEC Tau with regards to the liquor outlets being open so close to schools of education. And according to the Gauteng Liquor Act, it says that you're not allowed to open within 500 meters of a school. And according to the MEC at the time, he said that the regulations or shebeens do not do not have to comply with the Act, and that's part of the problem that we have there. And that's just with regards to the answer for question number 2. With regards to the answer for question number 4, it is quite concerning, MEC, that this part of the year, half of the year has gone by before we actually decided to review the school safety policy. Given the number of incidences that have taken place this year alone, in terms of the scholar transport, in terms of food safety, the drownings that has happened, there's been a number of issues that has taken place in Gauteng schools, and it's quite concerning that only the 8th month of the year that we decided to review this policy. But I look forward to the review, and I hope that it comes through to the committee for us to make some inputs into it. Thank you.
Thank you, Member. Honourable MEC.
I would not want to respond to the first one. I'll just follow up with my colleague in economic development as to what the former MEC Tau meant. But with regard to the timing of it, remember when you implement a strategy, you need to first do an assessment. And that's what we have done. So when you review, it's not about the time frame. You need to review what you have implemented. What are the issues? Where do you need to improve? Where do you need to consolidate? Where you need to reprioritize? And that's what we are doing. So August, end of August, is the review of the whole school safety strategy nationally, not necessarily Gauteng alone. So, but of course, we'll share it with the honourable member in the portfolio committee and the member, Dos Santos. Thank you.
Thank you. Honourable Shabalala, please rise and read your question.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. With regards to the below services procured by the department, transporting of people to events, catering, hiring of stages, hiring of sound system, event promoters, accommodation, venues and facilities, could the MEC please indicate how much in rents and cents has the department spent on each of these items in the last 3 financial years? What is the total amount of all money spent by the department on the above items in the last 3 financial years? Please provide a list of service providers that the department used and how much was paid to each service provider. Thank you, Deputy Speaker.
Thank you, Member. Honourable MEC.
Forensic, forensic. But thank you, Deputy Speaker. With regard to the first question to the member, the amounts of rents and cents spent on each of the items for the last 3 financial years, as per the final trial balances, are detailed in Annexure A. So you'll be provided with it. That's on the first question. Because there are thousands, so I can't read all of them. We need weeks to finish, so we just provide. With regard to the second question, the total amount of money spent on the above items in the last 3 financial years, as per the final trial balance, are indicated on Annexure A that will be provided. The third question, again, I refer you to Annexure B-H, where you'll get the list of service providers that were used. And then the fourth one, I'll refer you to again to Annexures B-H, that would outline the amounts paid to each service provider. There are thousands. I hope you have time, Honourable Member. Thank you, Deputy Speaker.
Supplementary question?
Okay, no, thank you, Deputy Speaker. MEC Matum, I know you're new in the department, but I think the reason you failed to give figures is because those figures are embarrassing. And then it is unacceptable and ridiculous and preposterous that the department has spent millions and millions of rands on items that do not add value to the arts and the sporting community. And Honourable MEC, your department in the past 3 financial years, they have failed to build a single sporting facility or deliver a single infrastructure project. Yet they spend millions and millions of rands on these items. We should be investing these millions on young people, on our young athletes and young artists. Currently, our monuments are not operational. Women's Living Heritage Monument, Buipato Monument, Kagiso Memorial. Behind our doorstep here, Johannesburg City Library is not operational for the past 4 years. Yet the department spends millions and millions of rands on insignificant items like this. You said something about forensic. I think you need to institute a forensic investigation in this department. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
MEC?
No, thank you, Deputy Speaker. I will consider what you are saying around the forensic. Honourable Member, firstly, libraries, we allocate to municipalities. So, City of Joburg is liable for the libraries in Johannesburg. We get the grant, we distribute accordingly to the number, according to the libraries. I'll give you the figure of how much we're giving the City of Johannesburg to maintain the libraries in Johannesburg. So that question, you put it to the wrong table. Around sporting facilities, we're concluding that process. The Women's Monument, by end of October, will be invited to the opening of it. So just be patient a bit. Items that do not value, it depends on the strategy. If we don't add value to you, the people of Gauteng feel differently. Every item, every decision we make as a department is informed by not ideas of me as a person, but research and also engagement with stakeholders and the residents of Gauteng that what is it they want us to achieve or to supply and support. And that's what we have done in the past years. That's why I've always referred to these annexures. This information is not embarrassing. If it was embarrassing, I was not going to give it to you. I'm giving it to you because obviously it's your right, but also we are certain of what we're doing at that time. And I'm sure the former MECs, they were conscious of every program they supported. Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker.
Thank you. Member Shabalala, please go on to the next question.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. With regards to law firms and individuals listed below used by Mfuleni in a local municipality to handle their internal labor disputes and disciplinary matters, could the MEC please indicate how much has been paid in rands and cents to each law firm and individuals? How many cases did each law firm handle for the municipality? How much was paid to each law firm? What is the total amount of all monies paid to each of the 12 law firms and individuals above? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable Madam Deputy Speaker. With respect to the question that is being asked, the reply is as follows. With respect to the first question, and of course, it should be noted this is information provided to us by the municipality, is that there were no payments that were made according to the following attorneys: Makopoi, Ramudem attorneys, Mujela, Gauteng, Muima, CDH, and Golani Caesar. According to the records of the municipality, the following attorneys have been paid as follows: Silika attorneys 11.5, Rapel attorneys 4.7 million, Leapile attorneys 2.7 million, Lindiwe Kumalo attorneys 2 million, and Rasikhwete attorneys 655,000, Matlopa and Tenga 85,000. And of course, with the total number of cases, Raskwete 2, Rapila 4, Lindiwe Kumalo 4, Madiklopa 8, Mujela 1, Leopile 4, Muima 1, Selika 8, and the total cases are said to be 41. And of course, with respect to the payments on each of these, the figures have already been provided. According to the municipality, there were no payments made to Makopoi, Mujela, Gauteng, Muima, CDH, Golani, as I have already said. The total amount is said to be 21 million. And of course, Honorable Speaker, Madam Deputy Speaker, we will conduct verification and check the validity of this information, and will continue to update the Honorable Member. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Member,
Okay, thank you, Deputy Speaker. I think it is quite sad that simple internal labor dispute are costing municipality so much money. And if you check, services in Mfuleni have collapsed. Our sewers are riddled with, our roads are riddled with potholes, are riddled with sewer. Yet the municipality is spending so much. And also what is said with regards to this is that the briefing is not done by the legal department, it's done by a labor relations manager who's not even qualified to be a labor relations manager. But we welcome the undertaking by the MEC to say he's going to investigate. We've been calling even previous MECs. Even the figures that they gave here is not a true reflection. These figures runs to hundreds and hundreds of millions of rands. But we will hold the MEC accountable on the responses that he gave us. Thank you, Deputy Speaker.
Thank you, Member. MEC?
Thank you. No comment. Point taken.
Thank you, MEC. Honorable Tlebere, who's standing in for Honorable Tlebere? Okay, let's keep it moving. Honorable Mehwe.
Thank you so much, Deputy Speaker. I wish to ask this question to MEC for Finance. In relation to the irregular expenditure of departments, we're informed of the Irregular Expenditure Committee that is mandated to condone irregular expenditure of GPG departments. Can the MEC indicate the following? How is this committee constituted? Who is it reporting to within the department and GPG? How often does it meet to consider submissions sent to them? And what criteria does it use to condone submissions for condonation?
MEC.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Deputy Speaker. The answer to the first question is that the composition of the Irregular Expenditure Condonation Committee is constituted by 4 officials from various disciplines within the Provincial Supply Chain Management Program, and these are: the chairperson is the DDG responsible for Provincial Supply Chain Management. The other members include the Chief Director for Contract Management, the Director for Procurement Support, and the Director for Contract Management. Those are the members. And who reports? The Head of Department, the Provincial Audit Committee, and the HOD's Forum also deals with these issues. And how often does this meet to consider submissions sent to them? The approved irregular expenditure condonation annual calendar is communicated to the GPG departments every financial year, outlining dates of the committee sittings. The committee meets monthly, subject to availability and readiness of requests for condonation or irregular expenditure received from departments. On question number 4, what criteria does it use to condone submissions for condonation? The Irregular Expenditure Condonation Committee considered the requests from condonation of, for condonation of irregular expenditure, which are in line with the provisions of paragraph 5.6 of the National Treasury 2022 PFMA Compliance and Reporting Framework, which stipulates that accounting officer or accounting authority or delegated official must consider the following information when requesting condonation of irregular expenditure, and this is confirmation that a determination test was conducted, findings and recommendations of the loss control function or other relevant function that were conducted to ensure that there is a determination test, confirmation that the matter is free of fraudulent, corrupt, or other criminal conduct. If the matter has fraudulent, corrupt, or other criminal conduct, confirmation of a case number showing that a case was opened with the South African Police Services, confirmation that no loss was incurred and that value for money was achieved, confirmation that disciplinary action was taken or in the process of being taken against the responsible official or officials. And lastly, confirmation of remedial actions taken or being taken by the accounting officer or accounting authority to prevent the recurrence of the irregular expenditure in similar circumstances. Thank you very much.
Honorable Mekwe, do you have a short one?
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I think I wish to thank the MEC for responding so eloquently on this particular work, because it's a behind-the-scenes work that is normally done. And at times, if there are delays it could be construed as if, irregular expenditure that, or even the request that has been made by departments is because the committee is incompetent. But the explanation gives clarity as to why there is delays in some of the departments. But also it kills a myth that says if there's an irregular expenditure, it goes without saying that there's fraud and corruption. So the MEC is explaining that they will first investigate, ascertain whether there is fraud and corruption before they can actually approve. I'm happy, MEC, about that work. And that committee, the work that they do must be actually be popularized. Thank you.
Madam. You got me there. Yes, Honourable Member.
Yeah, apologise for the sudden promotion I gave you, but I'm rising in terms of Rule 134, subsection 7, if I may. The MEC's reply indicated that there were members of the supply chain officials on the Irregular Expenditure Committee. Now, that represents an absolute conflict of interest, and it is an opportunity for the fraud and corruption that Honourable Michwe says that we are now have a process that gives us integrity. I would submit that it doesn't. So I would urge the Honourable MEC to go away, look at the protocols, and if there are changes that need to be made, they should be made. It's an opportunity for those officials to sweep the very investigation that we are looking for. They can sweep it under a rug at the very earliest opportunity. Thanks.
Honourable Tsege.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Without reiterating what Member Moriarty has just spoken about, I think it's good to hear there's even an irregular expenditure committee. But I hope, as a comment, that the MEC will really delve into the irregular spendings that have taken place in social development. I know when Member Mamabolo was the MEC, he even acknowledged the parallel process that took place with the food banks. And I hope it's now on the desk of this committee, hopefully constituted properly, based on Member Moriarty's comments. Thank you.
MEC, please respond.
Thank you very much, Deputy Speaker. I think the Public Finance Management Act clearly indicates that the responsibility of procurement in a department, it's a responsibility of the accounting officer working with the CFO and other delegated officials. But it goes further to stipulate, that's why in the response, there is what we call accounting authority, and that's what is known as a board commonly. So what is the point? The point is that supply chain takes place at the department's level. The officials that I'm referring to here are officials of Treasury who are not involved with supply chain at the departmental level. I'm sure Member Moriarty will know, even at the national level, there is a post called Chief Procurement Officer. So that person does not necessarily procure for the departments, because the law clearly states that power resides with the HOD. So then the HOD of a department, if they want irregular expenditure to be dealt with, they will apply to the HOD of Treasury. So the HOD of Treasury has established this committee, which is chaired by these officials who work in Treasury, and then those officials will look at the issues on a case-by-case basis and then recommend to the HOD of Treasury, who will then make a determination. If there's a need, because in terms of the same PFMA, if there's a need, I want to assume the MEC of Finance, who is the head of Treasury, will be brought on. But I don't think there's been any need, MEC Ralihok and MEC Mamabul, that the MECs will have to be brought on board, because these are issues that have to do with the preservation and the protection of the integrity, credibility, the regulations that have been introduced for supply chain and all other issues. So there is no, rest assured, there is no what you call there is no conflict of interest, because these departments, these officials are not in those departments. The issue about social development, Member Nseke, I think it is upon the, as you know, there's a process. So it is upon the department to approach Treasury, but I think SCOPA has a role to play as well. The department will appear, if they've not yet appeared, before SCOPA, so that SCOPA can also express its opinion. So I'm not going to go into the department and ask them to give me the information. They know what must happen. They have a responsibility. In fact, if they don't take the responsibility, it reflects bad on their books, because it remains every financial year. It recurs. It becomes it becomes a, what is it? A recurrence. Yes. So we urge all departments so that there shouldn't be an expectation that Treasury will run departments. The law is clear. There's a role for executive authorities. There's a role for accounting officers, and Treasury has a specific role to play. So we are not going to make a commitment that we will take over the role of executive authorities and the role of accounting officers. So I will suggest that you take that question to the relevant department so that they explain to you what process they are following. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable MC. Honorable Sasadinya.
Thank you very much, Deputy Speaker. Honorable MEC Matumi, with regard to the online application, can the MEC provide a comprehensive report on the online application for Grade 1 and Grade 8 for the academic year 2025? Thank you. What is the current status of the online application system, and how many applications have been received from Grade 1 and Grade 8 up to date? 2, what unique challenges has the department encountered in the online application process during this window, particularly regarding accessibility and the user experience? 3, how many did the department address issues related to infrastructure, technical support to ensure a senseless application process for all the applicants? Lastly, can the MEC provide the strategy in place to mitigate potential challenges at the beginning of 2025 academic year, particularly in relation to the placement of learners who may have difficulty in delaying for the application process? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Thank you, Honourable Member. With regard to the first question, the online admissions period commenced on the 11th of July 2024 and closed on the 14th of August 2024. The department received a total of 828,326 applications, of which 353,394 was for grade 1, and 474,932 was for grade 8. The last day for parents to submit their required documents to schools was on the 21st of August 2024. Districts will quality assure the list submitted to the schools in preparation for placement. The placement period is scheduled to commence on the 16th of September 2024 until all applicants are placed. With regard to question 2, could the honourable member refer to one above? With regard to question 3, there were 2 challenges that were experienced in the current window period. The first one was the load reduction in some areas, which interrupted Wi-Fi in some of the schools. So as intervention, districts arranged for those affected school admin to work in an area or school or district with electricity or proper functional Wi-Fi. The other one was on the weekend of the 9th, or in particular the 9th and 10th, where the system was down due to SITA, State Information Technology Agency, upgrades. So it's where the admission system is hosted. So to compensate for the loss of those 2 days, 9 and 10, the deadline was moved from the 12th of August 2024 to the 14th of August 2024. So 2 days were added to compensate for those 2 days when the system was down. With regard to question 4, to facilitate support, including technical, all schools, district offices, and the provincial office served as working centers where parents with no access to resources to record applications were assisted to apply to schools. In addition, the Provincial Contact Center remained open to receive and respond to queries from 8 a.m. in the morning until 1700 daily. Queries were responded to immediately where possible, and technical matters were responded to within 24 hours. With regard to question 5, the following strategies have been put in place to mitigate potential challenges at the beginning of the 2025 academic year. Advocacy has been amplified in areas with low application numbers and areas where parents historically missed the application window period. This serves to raise awareness of the importance of applying during the application period, and parents are assisted to record applications. Despite the efforts made above, provisions is made for the late applications period, which will commence on the 2nd of December 2024. During this period, all schools with remaining capacity will be made available on the online admission application system, and parents who have not applied during the designated application period logging to select a school. Learners are placed in the school selected by the parents, and parents upload or hand-deliver documents to the school. The late application period is scheduled to remain open up until the 30th of January 2025 to make provision for unplanned relocations. So to facilitate admission of all applications as close to their home's address as possible, the following infrastructural arrangements have been put in place. Additional mobile units are allocated to schools where available land space is available. Reasonable increase of capacity is encouraged per school. Satellite schools are created in existing schools where there's no vacant land or in areas with available space. The department has submitted a request to Treasury to provide funding to schools with available land space to build additional classrooms. Thank you, Deputy Speaker.
Honourable says,
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. I'm happy with the last input in terms of mitigating for challenges that may come out after the registration. If the plans are spot on, I think we are likely to run properly. Thank you, and all the best.
Thank you. MEC? Sure. Okay, thank you. Honourable Gentile.
Inkosi Sekela Somlomo Walen. Eyami imibuzo iku MEC for
Deputy Speaker. Deputy Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Member.
I think you have skipped the question for Honorable Mhlongo.
Oh, okay. It's fine. It will come after this one of Gentile.
Okay.
Apologies for that. Yes, Honorable Gentile.
Inkosi Sekela Somlomo. Eyami imibuzo iku MEC for Human Settlements. Noting that the Department of Human Settlements has been issuing title deeds to the elderly, which are paired with an information session with communities with regard to the commitment made by the Gauteng provincial government to protect the lives of older persons in this province, can the MEC indicate the following? How many title deeds were issued by the Department of Human Settlements to the elderly in the financial year 2023-2024? Second question, what information is shared with communities during the handover session to assist them in protecting these title deeds and the houses thereof? Can the MEC provide details on the process that is and requirements for the identification and registration of indigency with municipalities as discussed during this information session? And the last question, what other measures put in place to ensure that the elderly residents who receive these title deeds are supported in understanding and utilizing the rights and benefits associated with ownership, including the protection of their property rights and the succession and deceased estate planning? Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Deputy Speaker, and to the Honourable Member for the question. The response is as follows. We have provided a table which depicts the title deed categories issued from the 1st of April 2022 until 31st of March 2023. I'm only going to give you a summary, but I'll provide the detail to you, Member Gentile. In April 2022, I will only speak of those that were above the category age group born in 1960. We issued 277 in May, 209 in June, 113 in July, 33 in August, none, as there was no conveyancing. Then in September 2022, 865, in October 39, in November 63, in December 192, in January we had no registrations, and in February we had 7, in March we had 63. The response to your second question, what information is shared with the communities, the response is as follows. Title deeds, these are the things that we communicate to beneficiaries, that title deeds must not be laminated or scribbled on with ink. They must not hand over title deeds to third parties. They are encouraged to make valid wills. They must provide for their obligations as new owners, for example, the payment of rates and taxes. In municipalities where they have prepaid, they are also, it is also demonstrated to them how to purchase and how to load. They are also informed not to sign any documents they are not sure about the implication of the content, and they are also advised to visit the department for clarification on any documents before they sign. The response to the third part of your question is that the details on the process is as follows, related to indigent is as follows. Municipal officials, ward councillors, ward committees, and appointed officials are invited to the sessions to share the process of registering as indigents on the council's records. The fourth part of your question, what measures have we put in place to ensure elderly residents receive title deeds are supported efficiently? The response is as follows. We do create awareness about free legal services provided by entities such as probono.org, legal practice councils, example, on the free drafting of wills, representation at court, etc. And the elderly are advised of the free legal services provided by the department. The Consumer Beneficiary Education Unit in the department has also put in place communication channels, including pamphlets and other outlets to provide support. Our Rapid Response Unit in the department is also available to attend to instances where the matters affect the elderly. We also have a partnership with the Premier's Office on their campaigns focusing on elderly people, and in particular title deeds issuance, and specifically in the month of the elderly. We will be looking at expanding those to departments such as health and social development. Thank you.
Thank you. Member Gentile, do you have a short one?
No, thank you so much, Deputy Speaker. I just want to commend the department on the work that they are doing. And of course, noting that there is the demand that is exceeding, the supply, but also the fact that there are high volumes of people who are coming to the province for economic opportunities, and indeed we are trying as a department. But also I just want to make a submission to say, perhaps in the categorization, particularly on the 1996-1999 category in terms of the allocation, that I think we need to fast-track the process there in terms of allocation. I know that there's a huge backlog, but in terms of dealing with that category, noting that it would have more elderly people, I think we need to then fast-track. But thank you so much.
Thank you. Honorable, yes, Honorable Nseke.
Thank you. I rise in terms of 134 subsection 7. I think I concur, Member Gentile, there's a nice initiative happening here. And it made me think of something. I have residents of Tembisa who were some of the first batch of people to get RDP houses. They've never received title deeds. They're getting old. Whenever I talk to them, their biggest cry is, when will we ever get title deeds, because we want to pass on this property to our children. And while this initiative is amazing, I want the MEC to please consider that backlog where elderly people are crying to say, I'm in my 80s, I'm in my 90s. When I die, my children will not inherit this house because I don't have a piece of paper that says this property is mine. And it's very easy for somebody else to take it away from their children. If you can please put Tembisa on your bucket list of handing over title deeds. People cannot have houses from 1996, and in 2024, they still don't have ownership of those title deeds. Thank you.
Honorable MEC.
Thank you very much, Deputy Speaker. Yes, Member Gentile, we do have a policy in the department that seeks to address exactly that, the 96 to 99 backlog. Every development must have a minimum of 40% allocated to the 96-99 beneficiaries. Member Nseke, but we'll look at improving the policy where we've not gotten it right, but it also does need the municipality to be on board. Member Nseke, we have a number of townships that have not finalized township establishment, and for this reason, we are unable to hand over title deeds. So, for instance, just in Tshwane, we have 108, but many of the matters that are outstanding are the responsibility of the municipality. We have put in place a process to be able to assist municipalities for issues around township establishment. We are in constant engagement with municipalities because many of the requirements for township establishment can be waived by councils or relaxed to a certain degree. So, for instance, you can't finalize township establishment if you don't have bulk services, you don't have access roads, you don't have, so there's a number of matters that are required for a township establishment to be finalized. So we work with the municipalities. We hope that municipalities can fast track that. Definitely, Tembisa is one of those that are under the radar, but we are working on a comprehensive process to deal with those. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'll come back to you, Honorable Bloom. Let me finish off with the questions directed to MEC Education. The one I skipped in particular, I'll come back to you. Honorable Cesar.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Once more, question to the MEC, Honorable Madume. With regard to the schools of specialization, will the MEC indicate the following? Can the MEC provide an update on the progress and status of the delivery and opening of schools of specialization in Gauteng province during 2023-2024 financial year? How has the specialized curriculum for these schools of specialization impacted the quality of education and learning outcomes towards closing the skill gap in Gauteng province? What are the measures being taken to ensure that the curriculum of this specialization school align with the evolving needs to the job market and the demands of the 21st century economy? Could the MEC highlight any notable success or achievements, statements stemming from the implementation of the specialized curriculum in these schools of specialization? And lastly, what ways, if any, is the Department of Education collaborating with industry partners and stakeholders to enhance the relevance and effectiveness of the specialized curriculum offered at these schools of specialization? Thank you.
Honorable MEC.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. I'm busy. Thank you, Honorable Member. With regard to the first question, 35 schools of specialization were launched from 2016 to date. 14 of them were launched during the 2023-2024 financial year. And we've got one school that is outstanding due to the infrastructure not being finalized. Once the new school building is completed, the school will be launched. That's Ribani Lag. With regard to question 2, the schools implement the CAPS curriculum with the new subjects such as sports science, science and exercise, agricultural sciences, agricultural technology, and maritime economics. These subjects give learners opportunities to explore new careers and has also opened up opportunities for excursions and exposure to schools and industries that have the same focus. The learners are gaining skills based on the individual specialization and the needs of the economic development corridor in which they are situated. This prepares them to attend the university or college or enter the relevant industry or start their own companies. These schools aim to bridge the gap between grade 12 and further education and employment while leveraging partnerships to expand learner and teacher support. They also look to expand learning opportunities so that the impact of employment is visible in municipalities and the province. With regard to the third question, the Schools of Specialization program has been established to develop learners with skills for the fourth industrial world, the 4IR. The Gauteng Department of Education realizes that the world is changing and our learners need to be adequately equipped to handle the change once they enter the world of work and reality. Therefore, schools of special seek to nurture the development of top talent in South Africa across key disciplines, breeding the country's future generation of leaders. By nurturing the system's most distinctive learners, SOS will assist in addressing critical skills shortages in South Africa as a country. In Gauteng, this objective is in line with the province's TMR strategy. Further, the design, types, and location of each school of special will closely link to and support the development corridors set out as part of the TMR. With regard to question 4, the schools of specialization are a beacon of hope for learners as they pursue careers to which they might not ordinarily have had access to. These schools aspire to be schools of excellence. The following are examples of notable successes and achievements stemming from the implementation of the specialized curriculum in the schools. Learners of Mortuary, Math, Science, and ICT with a focus on maritime studies have been exposed to careers in maritime industry. There's also been a teacher exchange to get a feel for the industry and Transnet National Ports Authority have collaborated with the school. 2 learners from Pelindaba Math Science and ICT with a focus on nuclear science and technology went to Russia with NEXA. They participated in the holiday camp. Learners from Soshanguve Engineering School of Specialization with automotive focus entered an ESCOM competition. These learners project a solar train that they built, won first prize. The next level was in Cape Town. ESCOM has requested the school to sell the train to them. Learners from Litabong Math Science and ICT SOS achieved first prize in poetry and public speaking competition. Principals from 4 schools of specialization had a networking opportunity when they went to China. St. Barnabas and UJ Academy are both math science and ICT schools of specialization. They were launched in 2019. They do coding and robotics through Melisizwe and Code Jiga. Code Jiga has established coding and robotics clubs at the schools. Melisizwe is sponsored by Honeywell. As a big partner, Honeywell has recently created a state-of-the-art high-tech lab at St. Barnabas. In Pretoria, BMW is involved with the Soshanguve Engineering School that focuses on mechanical engineering. The school received a brand new BMW X3, will receive a brand new X3 every second year. In this way, learners are kept abreast of the new technologies. Pro Arte Alphen Park Performing and Creative Arts School of Specialization works with the Pretoria State Theatre. The learners are trained on music and dance. The Johannesburg Civic Theatre has a similar training for learners from the National Performing and Creative Arts School of Specialization. Pace Commerce and Entrepreneurship School of Specialization has erected tunnels for vegetables as part of entrepreneurship. Department of Agriculture sponsored the tunnels. Nedbank is sponsoring hydroponics at Magaliesberg Math Science and ICT schools of specialization with a focus on agriculture. This is to engage learners in a variety of ways in which crop farming can be done. Edward Patudi and Pelindaba Math Science and ICT schools of specialization with a focus on nuclear science and technology. They have partners with NEXA, National Nuclear Energy Corporation of South Africa, and is conducting a rocketry program course with the learners. I can go on the whole day on remember. I will cut there. With regard to question 5, the department is collaborating with the following industries and organizations to enhance the relevance and effectiveness of the specialized curriculum offered at the schools of specialization. South African Nuclear Energy Corporation, NEXA, BMW, Austrian Ministry of Education, University of Johannesburg, MTN, Conca Aviation, Honeywell, Protec, Swiss Learning Group, Marketplace Academy, Sibanye Stillwater, Sasol, OR Tambo, Sun International, and Piermont. So the GD is collaborating with different industries and stakeholders to ensure that schools are supported by different industries that are relevant to their specialization. Learners are gaining skills based on individual specialization and the needs of the economic development corridor. Schools are involved in excursions and exposure as this part of ensuring the enhancement of the schools and the learners. Learners are exposed to their on-site job interaction with companies who focus on schools of specialization. Learners are exposed to the following on-site interaction with companies with a focus on specialization. Learners have gained skills based on individual specialization and the needs of the economic corridor. So the developing and building project has assisted learners in gaining the following skills: ICT, information, computer technology, and scientific, research and innovation, culture diversity, mathematical, problem solving, and entrepreneurship. Furthermore, the Department of Education, through reorganization of schools, team and partnership directorate, are meeting with industries and organizations which can collaborate to increase the support for the SOS. Thank you.
Member Says.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. I think it's only fair to indicate that under your chairmanship and leadership, Chairman, we are properly driven and keep on accelerating. Thank you very much.
I'm fine, Deputy Speaker. Thank you.
Honorable Blue.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. To the Honourable MEC for Health and Wellness, with regard to the qualifications of Head of Department, Mr. Arnold Lesiba Malatana.
Honorable members, sorry, let's listen to Honorable Blue.
With regard to the qualifications of Head of Department, Mr. Arnold Lesiba Malatana, will the MEC please indicate 1, is she prepared to make public attested copies of his qualifications? 2, if yes, when will these be provided to the Gauteng Legislature in response to this question? And 3, if not, why not?
MEC.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The first question is that the response is the appointment of heads of department is the responsibility of the Office of the Premier in Gauteng. All qualifications related to the appointment of the head of department is subject to the human resource processes by the Office of the Premier, and the request should be directed to the Office of the Premier. The second one is that please see the response to question 1. And the third question will be, please see response to the above question again, which is question 1.
Honorable Bloom.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I know this is a hot potato. I asked a question about how he was appointed to the Honourable MEC of Health, and she also ducked it and sent it to the Office of the Premier. So now I've redirected that one to the Office of the Premier. I'll redirect this one to the Office of the Premier. Again, I mean, obviously you're ducking the question and delaying it, because I can't believe that the Gauteng Health Department does not have a record of the qualifications of their own head of department. Why you had to refer it to the Office of the Premier, and you couldn't just simply say, here they are, there's nothing to hide, here it is. But obviously, you know, you've got a human resources, you're actually telling me that your whole human resources department does not have a copy of the qualifications of your head of department. Now, I hope you've got copies of qualifications of other people in your department, and that you don't pass the buck quite so often to the Premier's office. Thank you.
MEC, do you want
Are
to...
your doctors really...
Honorable MEC? Reply, MEC, if we can reply.
No, Madam Speaker, andizukuphendula because yonke into uyayazi wonke umuntu. I'll be the only MEC onoze records because zonke zenziwa e-ofisini ka-Premier. Doesn't mean that ndim andizukulwa naye uBloom.
Thank you, honorable members. Honorable Diaga. Please ask your question.
Can the MEC be quiet, please? Thank you, Madam Speaker. With regard to vacancies within the Department of Infrastructure Development, will the MEC please indicate what specific positions make up the 40 critical posts that were prioritized for filling? Madam Speaker, that MEC is extremely disruptive. 2, how does the department plan to address the remaining 390 vacancies, especially the 368 in core business areas? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honourable Deputy Speaker. The reply to the question is as follows. And this answers both the questions, is that the department submitted a business case to Provincial Treasury for additional funding to address the challenges of the wage gap. And of course, as you may be aware, the cost of living adjustments which were not provided for. And furthermore, the department experienced, of course, as a result of that, budget cuts over the MTF period, which affected its baseline. And therefore, at this point, we are unable to fill those critical positions. But the most important part is that we are now in a process of developing a 5-year strategy in line with the priorities of the 7 administration. This is very important to inform our new organizational structure, and of course, this requisite capacity will certainly create new vacancies, and the recruitment plan will be in place on how we're going to fill these vacancies, and we will then, once we have reordered the positions, prioritize core and critical posts. Thank you.
Thank you. Honourable Member.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. Given the significant number of vacancies, particularly in core business areas, how does the department plan to ensure adequate project management and oversight in the short term while these critical positions are not being filled? Thank you.
Honourable MEC. Yes, Honourable Member.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. I rise on Rule 134, subsection 7. Madam Speaker, given how critical these vacancies are and the gap that it creates within the department, I'd like to ask a follow-up question as to what interim measures are being implemented to address the current capacity gaps that we find within the department, and of course the impact on project delivery and the budget management. Thank you.
Honourable MEC, when you're ready.
Thank you very much, Honourable Madam Deputy Speaker. Let me just start by assuring the House that as we did state during the budget debate, we are taking measures to improve our overall performance and delivery of infrastructure projects. We did indicate that we will be improving overall governance of the projects. We will introduce automation and smart technologies, and we will also, in the governance, hold accountable the contractors and the PSPs, but also the managers themselves. So, to that extent, let me assure the House that we do not anticipate poor performance because of the measures we are introducing, but that's why we also want to review the whole structure of the department to see if indeed with the measures that we'll be introducing, there will still be gaps or not. So, and we will report to the Portfolio Committee on this matter, and I know members are in the Portfolio Committee. We will give further details there. And also performance data. Thank you.
Thank you. Honourable Rasliwana again. You can rise to ask your question.
Thank you, Honourable Deputy Speaker. MEC, with regards to Lotus Garden Secondary School, will the MEC please indicate what is the timeline for the rehabilitation projects at Lotus Garden Secondary School? Number 2, when does the department expect to complete this procurement process for the major project that is taking place in Lotus Garden? Thank you.
MEC.
Thank you very much once more, Honourable Madam Deputy Speaker. The reply to the question is, with respect to the timelines, the construction is estimated to be completed within 16 months. And of course, we will monitor that. And with respect to the second question, it should take us not more than 4 months to deal with matters of procurement and supply chain, because remember the department has a panel of contractors, so that should minimize the amount of time required to conclude that. Thank you.
Remark?
Thank you, Honourable Deputy Speaker. Just as a follow-up, noting the response from the MEC, what measures are in place to ensure that there is accountability that is obviously taken into account, and of course adherence to the project timelines? I note that the MEC speak about 16 months. However, I think it's important that there is at least measures in place to ensure that within that period there is work that is taking place and people are accountable for. Thanks.
Honourable MEC.
Yeah, I did assure the honourable member, Madam Deputy Speaker, that the measures that we are introducing to ensure accountability will be able to help us exactly to answer the question. There are new measures that we want to enforce on contractors, on PSPs, on even officials, to make sure that we stick to timelines, to cost, and to quality. So we will keep you updated on the matter. But we do understand the question. Thank you.
Honourable member, you can rise to ask your question. The following question.
Thank you, Honourable Deputy Speaker. Again, with regards to the EPWP in the 2024-2025 Q1 report, will the MEC please tell us how many of the reported EPWP beneficiaries are new participants versus those that are carried over from the previous quarter? Question number 2 will be, what is the total budget allocated for the EPWP stipends for the 2024-2025 financial year? Thank you.
MEC.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Honourable Madam Deputy Speaker. The reply to the question is that we didn't enlist any or recruit new participants for the previous quarter or the quarter that you are, the quarter in question, so we didn't take anyone. And the total budget, in terms of its breakdown, there's that for the National Youth Service, about 94 million. We do have the Health Maintenance Program, about 51 million. And of course, the Sites and Facility Program of about 45. So that should give you a better breakdown of the allocations. Thank you.
Member, you're good? Thank you. Honourable San.
Thank you very much, Deputy Speaker. Good afternoon, MEC. With regards to the Chirela Primary School, will the MEC please indicate, number 1, the project is reported to be at 75% progress with a completion date of the 27th August 2024. Is the project still on track to meet this deadline? And number 2, what is the total budget for the entire project beyond the 2.5 million rand allocated for the 2024 financial year? Thank you.
MEC.
Good afternoon to you, and thanks for the question. The total budget for this project is set to be at 7.9 million. The information at this present indicate that the project was completed. It was handed over to the Department of Education, of Basic Education, on the 27th of August, and I am assured, and will have to verify, but was assured that the occupation certificate, which is very much important, has been duly delivered to the department. And obviously, when the occupation certificate is issued, it means all other necessary certificates accompanying it have also been issued. So to that extent, this project is set to be completed. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Thank you very much, MEC. Certainly good news. So will it be too much to ask MEC for the department? I know it's not exactly your competency education, but would the department give us an undertaking that the Tilera Primary School would be open and start to enroll learners for the 2025 academic year? Thank you.
Well, as you correctly said, we will pass over the message to the department. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Honorable Hicklin.
Thank you so much, Deputy Speaker. This is for the MEC of Health and Wellness. The funeral and mortuary industries remain unregulated, despite over 3 million rand having been allocated and spent on the development of the Gauteng Funeral Undertakers Bill and the Gauteng Funeral Industry Reform Regulations in 2012-2013. To date, both private and public sectors remain subjects of abuse and mismanagement, leaving bereaved families doubly traumatized. With that in mind, when will the Funeral Undertakers Bill be tabled? Number one. Number two, when will the Funeral Industry Reform Regulations be finalized? Number three, what consequence management can families expect to be effected against staff who wrongly identify bodies, sending or releasing incorrect corpses to bereaved families for burial or cremation? Number four, what training can be implemented to prevent any further incidences such as this happening in the future? And number five, what monitoring processes can residents have that the above measures have been implemented? Thank you.
Deputy Speaker, the first answer to the first question is according to the National Health Act of 2003, Act 61 of 2003, regulations number R363 were established to regulate and reform the funeral industry. These regulations specifically address the management of human remains within both private and public mortuaries. Then the second answer is according to the National Act 2003, Act 61 of 2003, it specifically regulations R363 regulate the funeral industry, both private and public sector, and the enforcement responsibilities are outlined as follows. Regulations R363 detailed in Chapter 2, subsection 2A stipulate that application and enforcement of these regulations fall under the jurisdiction of local government. This chapter designates the local government as the entity responsible for ensuring compliance with the regulatory framework. Then the role of the Director General, as specified in these regulations, is not to enforce the regulations directly, but to oversee and support the enforcement process as directed by local government. This delineation of the responsibilities emphasizes that Gauteng Department of Health and Wellness does not hold the primary enforcement role under these regulations. This framework ensures that local authorities are primarily responsible for the implementation and oversight of the funeral industry reform regulations, with the Director General providing support and coordination where it's necessary. The third answer, Madam Speaker, is that disciplinary actions against staff involved in wrongful identification or mismanagement of corpses are governed by the disciplinary code and procedures of the public service. This is managed in accordance with the Public Service Coordinating Bargaining Council, which is Resolution 1 of 2003. Disciplinary inquiries or investigations will be conducted, and families may be asked to provide evidence if required. Currently, one such incident is under investigation and is pending a departmental disciplinary hearing that must be done. Appropriate consequence management will be determined based on the findings. The fourth one, in terms of the answer, the Gauteng Department of Health and Wellness has introduced several measures to enhance accuracy and prevent mismanagement in this area. Then the other part of answering the question then, Madam Speaker, is that as the department now we've introduced the digital fingerprint system. A digital fingerprint system has been implemented to verify then and identify unknown deceased individuals and hospital patients. Forensic pathology services employees have been trained as super users of this system. They will in turn provide training to other forensic pathology and hospital staff throughout the year, which is the year of 2024-25 financial year. The other issue, which is an intervention that we have done, is biometric metallic body tags. The department, again, is transitioning from paper body tagging to biometric metallic body tags. Training for forensic pathology officers is done, and security officers, including hospital mortuary workers, is scheduled again to ensure proper use of implementation of these tags. The last part of our intervention is that the department is in the process of finalizing the development of a controlled website designed to assist the public in locating their loved ones, particularly those who may have passed on without being identified. This initiative aims to streamline the search process, reduce the need for individuals to travel across the provinces in search of deceased family members. Given the province's high migration population, many unidentified bodies are not local, posing a challenge again in reaching the next of kin who may reside in other provinces or even abroad. The establishment of this website again is expected to significantly enhance the ability to connect with the family members and facilitate the identification process. We are working diligently to launch this resource in the current financial year. The last answer is what monitoring processes can residents have that the above measures have been implemented. And we are saying in answering this, to enhance transparency and public awareness regarding the implementation of new measures in the funeral and mortuary industries, the following monitoring and communication strategies will be employed. Those ones are brochures and pamphlets. The second one is the official social media channels that we are using, the interactive features again, press releases and briefings, media partners that we are working very closely with them, dedicated helplines and email, online feedback forms that we are having as a department to ensure that all residents submit their comments there and report issues that are related to funeral and mutual services. And by implementing these strategies, the department aims to ensure that residents are well informed and can easily access information and have multiple avenues to monitor and provide feedback on the implementation measures. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Deputy Speaker. MEC, I'm afraid this is little cold comfort to a family in Soshanguve, for example, whose loved one was deceased in June of 2023, and they were sent a body that they buried, and only to find out 8 months later that they had buried the wrong body, and they had to exhume the body and get another body, which they then had to identify, which had been putrefying in a fridge in a mortuary that didn't have enough evidence and didn't have enough of a cold chain. This is really cold comfort, and they are not the only ones. You talk of one incident that's being investigated. I can tell you far many more than that are affected by this. And to send out pamphlets to the public is not going to assist. The mortuary, the funeral parlour industry remains unregulated. Whether you have passed legislation or not, the funeral industry remains unregulated. It is up to the MECs, it is up to the Department of Health. You cannot delegate such an important function to a local authority. You need to work with them and ensure that those legislations are actually enacted, because the government gazettes have not published those legislations. I thank you, ma'am.
MEC?
Definitely get the information from Member Hegelson so that we are able to look for those that he knows that we have not done anything. And then we will definitely take it up again, the issue of regulations. In our IGR meetings, we will definitely present this so that we work together to ensure that this is done, because we need to solve the problem that member has just identified. I take note of all the issues. Thank you.
Honorable Hicklin. Again, your question?
Thank you. I will take you up on that. Thank you so much. My next question is through you, Deputy Speaker. Public and state mortuaries should have crematoria as part of their service offering, as well as sufficient storage capacity to deal with daily events as well as potential mass casualties. This is clearly not the case, and not every state mortuary has a crematorium or sufficient storage capacity to deal with the demands placed on them. Can the MEC please inform me how many state mortuaries have generators capable of running their fridges or storage rooms to deal with extended power outages, thereby preventing the rapid decomposition of bodies? Are unidentified bodies held in state mortuaries appropriately fingerprinted with these details and these regularly uploaded into the necessary databases to assist with possible identification of the deceased? Are SAPS and the Department of Home Affairs sufficiently involved in the processes to speedily identify unidentified bodies? Are personnel working in mortuaries and crematoria inoculated against contagious or communicable diseases such as TB and hepatitis and any other infectious diseases that regular medical professionals are inoculated against? And are they provided with the necessary PPE to carry out their duties? And finally, have the regulations relating to the disposal of human remains, as stipulated in the Government Gazette of the 15th of March, been enacted? That is the 15th of March 2022, been enacted, particularly with regards to the radioactive materials, such as those found in pacemakers and the National Environmental Management Act. Has this been effectively communicated? Thank you so much.
MEC, over to you, thanks. Thank you, Chair of Chairs. Chair of Chairs, in the first answer to the first question, is that currently the Department of Health oversees 11 state mortuaries and all mortuaries have 11 functional generators. The second answer is, according to regulations regarding the rendering of forensic pathology, service number R636 stipulates that a body that has not been identified must be moved to a freezer within 7 days of admission. Fingerprints gets taken to the digital fingerprint system verification through SAPS Local Criminal Record Center and the Department of Home Affairs database. So results are kept in the disease case file for future referencing. So that's what we have been doing so far. The third answer is currently SAPS is mandated by the law to conduct identification of unknown bodies, including family tracing. Forensic Pathology Service provide support to the SAPS by means of publication and radio interviews and public awareness campaigns that are requested by SAPS. The Department of Home Affairs then provides support to the Department of Health Forensic Pathology Service for full integration of the digital fingerprint system to the population database system that we are using now. And I think it has been helping us now to reduce the number of those that have been in our mortuaries. Then number 4, employees working in forensic mortuaries get vaccinated as prescribed by the law. In addition, a full-time occupational nurse was appointed to coordinate the program for the past 10 years. So, but we are making sure that now there is enough capacity and the staff that we have, including some of the doctors that are just assisting those that are working in the mortuaries. And then the last one is that local government environmental officials, again, are mandated to perform the above functions, but they are not working alone. They work very closely with the forensic team of the Department of Health and Wellness. Thank you, Chair of Committees.
Thank you, Honourable MEC. Member Eek.
Thank you so much. Again, MEC, I rise to say to you that unfortunately we know of families who have gone to identify their loved ones 10 hours after having been notified of the demise of their family members to find the bodies already decomposing because the generators aren't working and the fridges aren't working. We also know of someone who was notified 4 years after their loved one had passed that the body was still in the mortuary, not it hadn't been moved to a facility, as you say, within 7 days. The body was lying there for 4 years. So somewhere along the line, what you are saying and what is being translated on the ground is actually not happening. And this is happening within Gauteng and across various provinces across the country. And we are also being told of staff within the private and the public sector who do not get inoculated and do not have sufficient PPE. So if you can investigate that as well. But again, it goes back to an unregulated industry. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Member MSC.
Yeah, thank you, Member Heckerson. What I will do then is to do the same thing. Let's have a session that I get even those mortuaries that you said the generators are not working. I have visited all the 11 mortuaries that we are using. There was not a single one that the generator was not working. But I will definitely do a follow-up, but I will give you even my contact numbers. Where you find those cases, we are able to intervene, both of us, and make sure that we sort it out. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable MEC. Member Abrams, if you can give the questions for Member Makera, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. My question is as follows. The month of May saw an end to the Gauteng Green Brigade. The Economic Freedom Fighters has previously cautioned against the precarious employment opportunities created by the Nazi Spani program, where the residents of Gauteng are employed on short-term contracts with no prospects of extensions, UIF, or other statutory benefits. In line with this, can the MEC of Environment answer the following questions? Some participants of the Green Army program indicated that they did not receive payments for the month of June and July, despite them working for those months. Some of whom approached the department on the 2nd of August over these payment disputes. Second question, what is the status of payments for the 2 last months that they've worked, and why were delays experienced in finalizing of these payments? Third question, considering that this is a newly standalone department, whose mandate includes the cleaning up of Gauteng, does the department have plans to permanently absorb the Green Army or to create a similar program to clean up the province or more permanent basis? Thank you, Deputy Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Abrams. MEC Peters, please.
Thank you, Chair of Chairs. In response to question number 1 and 2, the Department of Environment can confirm that over 5,190 Green Army payments were honoured as the end of July 2024. Over 280 participants were not paid due to the fact that initial appointments were captured manually on the system. Other reasons for rejected payments also included duplication of personal records found. A circular dated 2nd of September 2024 by HR, our transversal services also confirmed that the outstanding manual payments will be processed by the 16th of September 2024. Now, long-term job creation is a key priority for the Department of Environment, and the Green Army program is a key driver for the CBD revitalization strategy. And we have met with critical stakeholders, private sector as well as public sector, to look at interventions to fund this initiative. A clear directive has been set by the department for the end of September 2024 to announce the way forward for the Green Army.
Thank you, MEC Peters. Any supplementary question? Member Abrams.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Just because our police stations don't appear on the top 10, it doesn't speak to reducing crime, rather than a reluctant report crime. Also, no word of the brutality of wardens. What has been done against the excessive use of their force has been mentioned, has been answered, particularly the growing trend of the extortion. Nee man, wag nou laat ek eers mooi klaar praat, dankie. Also, the communication that was sent out is that no, with regards to the payments,
Members,
with the payments.
Please let Member Abrams.
Baie dankie, ek sal dit waardeer. Ek bly stil as julle praat, so asseblief bly stil
Krijgen
as
we er-
ek praat, dankie.
Okay.
So, there was a communication that was sent out to the anticipated wardens, right? Noting that we need to note that the payments, some of the payments were rejected. It was rejected by the system. It also takes time to find out, there was also time to find out where some of these people were working, in which departments, and there was terminations that occurred, and there are continuous investigations. Then the information of participants whose payment were rejected must be processed manually, which you have just mentioned now. The question that I'm having here is, why isn't there a clear indication of database of termination of contracts versus also where the people are working in which departments? Thank you, Deputy Speaker.
MEC.
Man, moenie so rou wees nie. Wen man. Julle moet luister.
Order, please. Order, please.
So in response, member, they also found that some of the Green Army that are actually in the system actually have other jobs. So that's why they were thrown out of the system in the first place, and they weren't paid as well. So they had to then also do the manual uploading of that. And then in response to where they work, there is a specific area for each of them, and there's managers. There's a company that's obviously there to monitor them. But this is part of what we are looking into to ensure we are 100% sure where everybody is working, and that we are 100% sure that we are actually paying people for working. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, MEC. I think we have concluded. Thank you, Member Abrams. Okay. Honorable Mosoleng.
Thank you, Chair of Chairs. The vial flooding of 2023, as well as the Bree Street gas explosion, demonstrated that Gauteng province, with the largest population in South Africa, is not adequately prepared to withstand a response to disasters. This is despite the ever-growing threat of natural disasters due to the effects of climate change. In 2023, plans for a combat-ready disaster management center consisting of state-of-the-art disaster equipment were unveiled. However, very little updates have been given on the status of this center. Can the MEC of COGTA update on the following? Number one, what is the status of the combat-ready disaster management center? Is the center operational? Number two, what is the total cost of the center, including the cost of acquiring the state-of-the-art disaster management equipment? And number three, how is this center aligned to the Gauteng Provincial Disaster Management Center? And what is the status of the operation of the PDMC in terms of being fully operational and staffed to respond to disasters? Thank you.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Honorable Mosoleng. Honorable MEC.
Thank you very much, Chairs. The reply to the question, and let me acknowledge the question. Thank you very much to the Honorable Member Mosoleng. The answer is, of course, there is currently, as you know, the Provincial Management Disaster Center that assists the province on emergencies. However, the size of the center is not sufficient to house other required emergency machinery and equipment. In this regard, the Department of Infrastructure Development, on behalf of COGTA, has identified a property for the establishment of combat-ready disaster management center. And of course, engagements at this point are at a point of concluding the acquisition and of course doing the tenant installation. As previously stated in 2018, There was an assessment that was made, and the outcome was indicated that the existing facility or building cannot effectively cater for an integrated operation that are required by the provincial government to support, among others, the safe city and smart city objectives. This was considered a major risk considering the strategic importance of the province in the country and in the continent. So where we are now is that there is a facility that DID has confirmed on behalf of COCTA, and they are finalizing the installation processes, and this is said to be in the Semren Business Park in Centurion. And apparently this facility is the most suitable for this function. The total cost of this new facility are being finalized because there's still work that is being done. And lastly, that once the center the process has been concluded, it will definitely be aligned and comply with all the requirements for a proper management, disaster management center. Thank you.
Thank you, MEC. Member Mosoleng. Any supplementary? Are you good? Thank you, Honorable. We are going to go to the third item, Honorable Members. The third item is written questions for oral explanation and tabling in the House in terms of Rule 137, subsection 5. In terms of Rule 137, which reads as follows: if a question for written reply is not replied to within the stipulated time frame, and no extension is requested by a member of the Executive Council, during the next question day, the relevant member of the Executive Council must provide an oral explanation in the House for his or her failure to reply to the question and still hand over the written reply to the table. MSCs are kindly requested not to reply to questions, but to provide an oral explanation for his or her failure to reply the questions and forward the reply to the questions to the table. The first MEC will be the MEC for Infrastructure Development. Question 5. The presiding MEC, if you can, Mama Bolo, can you give an oral explanation for not presenting that question in the House?
Sorry.
You have three questions, Oral Mama Bolo.
This is the first time I have to account for not answering questions. The questions were replied, and I was told that the list has been updated. I'm surprised that your list is not updated. I did check with the personnel here, but I'm assured that the information has been received on all the questions that were outstanding. I think there's a need for a verification, but we will reply. As far as I know, they've been answered.
Okay. Is that okay? You will deal with it. The answer is it was received, but it was late, Honorable Mabolo. But you will rectify that. Is that okay? Thank you. The next MEC is MEC of Social Development, MEC Faith Mazibuko. You have, I think it's 2 questions. $15 questions.
Yeah. House Chair, the answers were sent to proceedings. They must just verify their system. Although some, yes, did come in after 3 p.m., because the deadline is 3 p.m., so others were actually submitted after 3 p.m. Like you can see, they make that department a research department. So how do you expect me to answer all these many questions? Why? Research you want to research, they want to write thesis.
Order members.
With this
Order members.
answer. So they want to research. Hambani ningene ku Google, nizothola ama answer. Ngiyabonga somlo. Yeah.
MEC, they are saying, the table is saying 8 questions remain unanswered. But we will deal with it, yeah.
House Chair.
Order,
House
members.
Chair. House Chair.
Thank you.
I personally signed those answers.
Okay.
I know they went in. But in King would bafunu research alapawam. And actually research department lab. Mabakukula ma answer. Nyabo.
Thank you.
Please tell.
Yes, sir. Honorable Moriarty.
Mr. Deputy Chair of Chairs, Chair of Chairs, I do apologise, I beg your pardon. The rule actually says that the relevant MEC must provide an oral explanation for his or her failure to reply. It's not for an MEC to complain that they've become a research department. They only have to say, we couldn't reply in time because of A, B, C. And the same goes for Honourable Mamabolo. He can't come here and say, well, it was provided. When it was provided late, he must still explain why it was provided late. Thank you.
Yeah, when I listened, thank you, Honourable Moriarty. When I listened to Honourable Mamabola and Honourable Faith Mazibuko, they're saying that they're going to make sure that it is rectified. Honourable Mamabola says that he is not sure. The table has said for him that it was sent late, submitted late, and it must be rectified. And I agree with you, Honourable Moriarty. I totally agree with you, is that we want an explanation in terms of why it was not replied to and submitted. Thank you so much. MEC Diale is not here. MEC Cholwane. He was here, he is not here. And then MEC Peters. She's not here. Honourable members, I think for the House, let me say that it is disturbing that we are, that we are here. We're waiting for replies. Why oral replies? Why submissions were not made to the House? I think it's important that this must be dealt with very seriously. And there are some members who are in the House, and they're not here now to explain to the House. And this is important for the citizens of Gauteng. So we will deal with it as the presiding officers with the proceedings to make sure that when this happens, yes, sir. When I'm coming to you, I'm still on the floor. It will not happen again. Thank you so much, Honourable Nell.
Chair of Chairs, I will arise in terms of Rule 120 to submit a motion without notice that in terms of 121C, all the MECs who have not responded or given an oral explanation, that those explanations be postponed to the next order paper. Thank you.
Can I get a seconder?
I rise to second.
Thank you. Everybody in favor say aye. Aye. Those not in favor say no. Okay. Honourable members, we have come to the end of our sitting. That concludes the business of the day. Our next meeting, we having another sitting, so I think we can we take a break for about, say, half an hour? It's half an hour, and then we come back at 2:30 for the next special sitting. Is that okay, members? Thank you. Shall we stand, please? The House is adjourned.